Remember the first time you ever went to an arcade and you saw all the incredible, life-changing prizes available and your mind started running wild with possibilities?
Shit, alright. I'll take the electric guitar, the skateboard, the PlayStation 2, 1,000 Tootsie Rolls, that stuffed animal that's taller than me. Hey Toots, would you mind wrapping him up in plastic for me? I'll wet the bed.
And then 2 hours and $47 later, you realize you've only earned enough tickets to buy one whoopee cushion? Well, not to brag or anything, but I'm old as fuck now, and I'm pretty good at games, or at least better than I used to be. So for this video, I decided to test out an idea that I've wanted to do basically my whole life. I want to find out if you can profit at an arcade. If I just play the one game I'm best at over and over and over again, can I ultimately earn a prize that's worth more than the amount of money that I spent on the tokens? I didn't need to say all that. You read the title, you know what I'm gonna do. So I headed to the second most touristy part of Orlando, Florida, to a place called Main Event, which is somewhere in between Dave & Buster's and Chuck E. Cheese. In spirit, I should say. Geographically speaking, Dave & Buster's is in the middle. This place has everything. Bowling, laser tag, a weird obstacle course hanging from the ceiling. But I don't have time for any of that right now. The reason I dragged my wife here at 3 p.m. on a Friday is to figure out the most efficient game to play and the best prize to buy. Now, this isn't like the old days anymore where you gotta lug around a 75-pound bucket of tokens. The first thing you do here is preload cash onto a fun card, which holds all of your credits and then also the points you earn from the game. And I gotta say, I immediately got overwhelmed from the onslaught of numbers. Okay, so 200 credits is not $40, it's $35. And 300 credits should be, quite frankly, $60, but it's not, it's only $50. And everyone keeps saying that 500 credits costs $100. It doesn't, it's only $75. You save $25 when you buy that, which you can use to buy 140 credits, which is actually $28. And plus, I don't know what any of that means. If I buy this one, does that mean I can play 200 games? No. Most games cost anywhere between 7.5 and 8.5 credits, which are such confusing numbers to keep track of. Why even include a decimal at all? Who thought of this? The last time I came here in 2019, I remember each machine just telling you how much it cost in terms of dollars. But if I had to guess, I'd say they changed it to be purposely confusing so you don't realize how much money you're actually blowing through with every passing game. It's kind of like how if I saw a Fortnite skin that said, this costs $20, I would be like, hell no. I'm not spending $20 on this. I'm gonna buy $20 worth of V-Bucks because then the costume is free. As with most arcades, there are pretty much 3 types of games here. There are the fun ones like Basketball Connect 4, Air Hockey, Flappy Bird but big. Typically these are the ones you earn the least amount of points for playing, but if you're just here to have a good time, that doesn't matter. Then there's the luck-based games, which can, in theory, earn you a whole bunch of tickets, but you have no control over that because it's essentially just a giant slot machine with SpongeBob on it. And then lastly, there are skill-based games where technically you could earn the jackpot every time. The only thing stopping you from doing so is your own ability. The only downside is they're usually tedious and stressful and the least fun options out of all the games in the arcade. So in other words, they're perfect for this video. Let me tell you, I was ecstatic when I walked in and saw that they still had this ball cup game. This is the machine I had in mind when I was planning this video because I used to abuse the hell out of this. While the rest of my friends were playing skee ball and enjoying themselves, I was just standing on this machine for 1 whole hour, hoping to earn the best prize out of the group. See, I was playing the long game. Sure, maybe you guys had more fun that night because you got to play Mario Olympics and Vin Diesel Simulator, but I get to have this forever. So, who actually came out on top. Anyways, back to the ball game. So the goal with this is to get all 50 balls into these spinning cups without losing any of them, and you have to do so before time runs out. You really gotta try to be perfect with this one because the difference between getting 49 balls and getting all 50 is massive. But once you get the rhythm down, it's possible to start stacking jackpots and become the queen of the arcade. When I started out though, I was blowing through tries so fast. I'd started sweating immediately. I got very tense and nervous. I think the pressure of the video was mounting on me. And every time I would be just one ball away from the jackpot, the disappointment and frustration would hit me like a ton of bricks. Or a ton of feathers. They both weigh the same. But I managed to calm myself down, gain my composure, and on my 10th try, I did it. Give me that jackpot, baby. That'll be 711 points, please.
I love you now.
Now I just gotta stand here for 4 minutes while the machine counts up all my points one at a time for some reason. Why does this take so long? Is there a little guy in there trying to count them up by hand? Just use a calculator, dude. It's like they're trying to discourage you from winning the jackpots by making them inconvenient. Well, while we're waiting for that, I do just want to say, unironically, I was so relieved when I won this. I think I had built this video up so much in my head over the past couple years, and I just felt it all falling apart before my eyes. When I started losing again and again and again, I started to freak out and think, did they make the game harder? Or worse, am I just dumb now? Am I gonna have to go to Chuck E. Cheese? They'll never let me in there. I'm almost 30. Oh, hey, my points are done. With the satisfaction of one, that's right, a single win in my belt, I decided to just enjoy the rest of my night with Amanda, knowing I was gonna have to come here by myself later in the week anyway. We went bowling for the first time in about 5 years, which reminded me that I am possibly the worst bowler in the entire world, including babies. I think a baby would do better than I did. The second game though, I was like, wait, who are we trying to fool by doing regular mode? Let me just throw the bumpers up and then we'll have way more fun. Just kidding, I sucked at that too. Then we ate dinner, which was, it was fine. There's just something about cubed meat that makes me feel like I'm being given my rations for the day. When we were done eating, I decided to try out a few other games, but I quickly came to the conclusion that nothing was going to be as productive or efficient as Quick Drop. I should probably talk about the prizes, because that's the other thing I have to figure out. The single most expensive item in here is, for some reason, a minion named Turbo Dave. Just below that are some random kitchen appliances, some extremely cheap looking electronics, you know, the kind of headphones you buy for $3 at a CVS checkout line and they stop working before you even make it back to your car. There's a bunch of vlogging and podcasting gear. Then they've got a few plushies, which range from Among Us to terrifying. A fake wad of gum, you know, for pranks. And then finally, a whole bunch of candy that you throw in when you don't have very many points left. I always find it interesting to see how they price these things because it's not like there's a 1-to-1 ratio of points to dollars. Like, I don't think that the minion on a hoverboard is worth 14 Marvel mugs or 400 blow pops, but I'm not in charge of an arcade. All right, babe, let's see that haul. That's just what Amanda got with her entree and tickets. I found out you can save your points for up to 5 years. I don't think I'm gonna be saving them that long, but I am gonna come back in a couple days. I've got about 1,700 points stocked up. $37 in, I believe. So yeah, not off to a great start in terms of profiting, but I may have discovered a loophole. You see, anytime you buy something at Main Event, they give you the option to fill out a survey on their website in exchange for a free 30-minute game card. If I could stand on this machine for 30 straight minutes, I could win thousands of tickets without having to spend even one more dollar. It's the perfect plan. So I headed back to the second most touristy part of Orlando, and I swiped my card again, and I dropped those balls. And turns out you don't actually get any points from the free plays. So, 'twas not the perfect plan. But I still had fun. Not that that matters for this video. I did get to play possibly the funniest game of Deal or No Deal in its entire history. Obviously, I couldn't risk ending up with only one ticket, so I decided to accept his offer of one ticket. Anyway, after farting around for half an hour, I decided to just suck it up, spend another $35, and I headed back to my favorite stress game. Took me a few tries to get back into the swing of things, but on my 5th game, I won the jackpot. Then 3 games later, I won it again, and 2 games later, I won it again, and at this point, no one could stop me. I won twice in a row, then 3 times, then 4 times, before capping my streak off at 5 consecutive jackpots. If this isn't poggers, then I don't know what is. Grandma, if you're watching this, poggers is a gaming term for when someone does a good job. So... can you tell Grandpa too? Also, do you like how nervous I look filming all of these shots? I felt like the biggest idiot every time I picked up my phone to record myself winning the stupid game. The thought of someone watching me be proud of this is so embarrassing. Just looking at me from across the room like, does this guy have a job? It's Wednesday, go home. Well, sorry to break it to you, person I made up in my head, but this is my job now. The arcade is my office, and I'm gonna give myself a raise. Just when I could feel myself starting to get a little bit too cocky, the universe sent another obstacle my way. Maximum payout? So now I'm getting punished for being too good at the game? At this point, I'm pissed. At least warn me ahead of time when I'm getting close. Like, hey, you might want to slow down there, big guy. This machine's almost empty. Also, what? You ran out of virtual tickets? Just make more of them. I thought about it, and I think this might be why they count up your points so slowly. So that by the time they've arbitrarily decided to stop giving you points, you've already spent $8 more on the machine, all for nothing. I even had to watch them count up my unawarded tickets one by one, and at this point, you're just taunting me. Anyway, when the dust finally settled, I had lost about 1.5 jackpots. Very upsetting, not gonna lie, but I don't think this completely ruins my plan. I'm pretty sure this is only a temporary limit. I think it's just there to keep you from hogging one machine during peak hours, which is fair, by the way. If I had a line of kids behind me waiting for their turn and I was just like, sorry, I'm making a video, that would be pretty selfish. But I came here in the middle of a school day and there was nary a child in sight. Since I wasn't sure if I'd ever have this many points at once again, I decided to cash out on day 2 and buy myself the hot dog toaster I had my eyes on from the moment I walked in the room.
Now, I'm not sure I would say that this is the best day of my life, but it's definitely in the top 5. I actually feel kind of bad because I had to get one of the employees to not only grab a ladder from the storage room, but also get like a special key to unlock the high value prize section. And he seemed really confused. I was hoping he might be like, oh, that's funny, you got the hot dog toaster. No one's ever redeemed this before. But I don't think he really said more than 2 words.
All right, babe, I know you had a long day at work. Close your eyes. I know work's been crazy lately, but I have something for you. Open your eyes.
Thanks.
It's not for you.
If I open it and there's like crumbs in it, I'm gonna laugh.
I'm gonna cry. Oh, it's smiling at us.
Was that a thing? Was hot dog toasters
I
a
doubt
thing?
it.
All my baby boomers in the chat, sound off. Was hot dog toasters a thing? Let me know.
With enough credits left to play 9 more games of Quick Drop, I headed into day 3 with a very clear goal in mind. From all the Googling I've done, I'm pretty sure this Marvel mug has the best points to potential resale value ratio of all of the redeemable items here. If each attempt cost me about $2, and I think I could reasonably sell this mug for $10, that means out of 5 tries, I only need to get 2 jackpots to turn a profit. If I get really lucky and win 5 jackpots in a row like I did yesterday, then I'd have enough for 3 mugs, at which point I could be potentially making a $20 profit. And so on and so forth until I've sold 1 mug to every human being on the face of the planet, and I'll finally have enough money to buy my own private island that no one's invited to. Also fine, I'll explain my strategy with the game so you too can try to win at this specific machine in Orlando, Florida. The secret is to just drop 4 balls at a time. That's pretty much it. They even show you that in the little tutorial video that plays, and yet I still see so many people try to drop all 50 balls in 1 second like they're in a hurry to lose. If you drop exactly 4 balls every spin, which is pretty easy to do, you will end up with 48 out of the 50 balls with the time that you are given. That means at some point during the 12 turns, you only have to drop 1 extra ball twice to end up with 50. Personally, I like to get those 5th balls out of the way early so I know how hard I need to focus for the rest of the game. But if you'd rather save them for the end because you'll have the rhythm down at that point, I can't blame you. I'm just impressed that you flew all the way to Orlando to play this game. As usual, I got off to a bit of a shaky start. Probably didn't help that I forgot to take my Tom Brady brain pills like I did on day 2. I hope they don't consider that an illegal substance here, and it's not like the arcade equivalent of steroids in baseball. But after a few tries, I was able to win the massive jackpot that everybody else had graciously accrued for me. You see, every time someone loses this game, the jackpot goes up by 1 and resets when someone wins. So this means there had been about 300 losses in a row, and I got to benefit from that. That's another variable to throw into the math here, but even without that, 600 points is nothing to sneeze at. Anyway, after 3 days of mashing one button a million times and a hot dog toaster already sitting pretty in my kitchen, I headed to get my reward. Lucky for me, I got to ask the same guy from yesterday for help grabbing the LED sign that was just out of my reach. Instead of using a ladder though, he just kind of climbed on top of the shelves, and I really admired the creativity. Am I gonna somehow profit off of this sign? No. But to me, having a man cave that's open all day, every day, is priceless. Oh, also I grabbed the mug that I came here for. I keep getting distracted by funnier prizes. As much as I wanted to race home and enjoy a celebratory cup of decaf coffee out of my new mug, it was time to get down to business. And I threw that bad boy up on the world's worst commerce website, Facebook Marketplace, and I waited and waited and waited. And just when I was starting to lose hope, my friend Cody offered to buy it from me with real American money. Sorry for the abrupt exit, Cody, but I had to rush home and count my earnings.
10.
I couldn't believe my success. I earned enough points to buy that mug with 1 game of Quick Drop. These kind of profit margins are unheard of. Jeff Bezos who? There's a new guy in town. Why did I even bother going to community college for 8 months when I could have been investing that tuition money into the school of video games? Let's go ahead and break down the numbers, shall we? Sorry, I don't have a regular dry erase board, so this calendar is gonna have to do. Day 1, we spent $37. I still don't know why it was 37 and not 35. I guess the card itself, it cost $2 because when I refilled it, it was exactly 35 the next day, but I don't fucking know. We also spent $48 on bowling and $70 on food and drinks, but that doesn't count. That's not part of it. I'm just saying that that's what we did. Okay, but $72 spent on game credits, and here is what we earned. Number 1, a state-of-the-art hot dog toaster, a relic of simpler times, a rare and priceless artifact that is currently being sold on Amazon for $25. But let's say I was gonna buy that anyway, and in doing so, I saved $25, which is almost like earning $25, because penny saved, penny earned. Benjamin Franklin? Last I heard, he's the guy who electrocuted himself on purpose, so I think he knows a thing or two about math. We also got the man cave sign, and again, let's say I was gonna buy that anyway. Well, currently, that's being sold on eBay for an average of about $40. At less than 2,000 points, that's a bargain. If you're wondering why I didn't just try to sell that one instead, that's because I didn't think anyone would buy it. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Finally, of course, we have the mug, which I sold for $10. Now, if you have a calculator at home and you're playing along, you may have noticed that this number is bigger than this number. I'm trying to think if there's a word for that, like a math word, you know, for when you make more money than you spend on something. What's the term again? Oh, that's right, I think it's called a profit. And that's not even mentioning the fact that I practically threw away half my tickets on day 1, and the machine stole over 900 points from me on day 2, and I forgot to get my parking validated on day 3, so I had to pay for that myself. Also, I guess if you factor in like gas and stuff, because I had to drive a lot, that's probably another like $15. You know what, on second thought, I think we're just gonna call that part a wash. I made a $3 profit, and that is a success. So to answer the question of can you profit at an arcade, the answer is technically yes. Obviously, it depends on which arcade you're at, what prizes they have, if there's a machine that you can win consistently. But for this specific ball drop machine, I have learned that if I just win jackpots over and over and over again, making sure to take breaks so I don't hit the payout limit, I can absolutely redeem my points on something that I would have wanted to buy anyway and save a few bucks in the process. Am I gonna somehow turn this into a full-time job? You never know. I mean, I would pretty much be actively crashing the blue Marvel mug market by increasing the supply so much. Absolute best case scenario, I could see myself locking in minimum wage, but I would run out of people to sell mugs to eventually. Or, before any of that happens, the arcade might just run out of them, or they'll catch on to what I'm doing and nerf the machine I like, or raise the price of the prizes, or put a photo of my face on the wall that says, "Do not let this guy play quick drop, he is bleeding us dry." I guess if I had to pick one thing that I learned in this video, it's that unless you have a concrete plan going into it, and you've already done the math, you're probably only going to lose money at an arcade. Also, don't do what I almost did in this video and get really excited by the idea of selling something for a profit, because I almost got like a bunch of mugs before even seeing if they would sell, and then I barely sold one of them. Remember, the value of a product is only what someone is willing to pay for it. This isn't RuneScape. I can't just throw my Avengers mug into the Grand Exchange and get a bunch of gold coins for it. I have to use Facebook Marketplace, and Facebook Marketplace is the worst.
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., the greatest quarterback of all time. He's won 7 Super Bowls, set almost every imaginable passing record, and has made probably over $1 million or something like that. But what I find truly interesting about Tom's story is that he isn't that special of an athlete. It's not like he can throw the ball further than anyone else, and he's probably the slowest player on every team he's ever been on. Giannis Antetokounmpo is superhuman. JJ Watt looks like if a muscle came to life and started talking. But on the surface, Tom just kind of looks like a guy. In fact, he's so unassuming as an athlete that almost 200 people were picked ahead of him the year he was drafted. And he played longer than every single one of them. In many ways, he got better as he got older. His face changed shape like 6 times. Everything he's doing defies all logic. So what the hell is his secret? Is he a cyborg? A time traveler? Was he an experiment created in some kind of football laboratory? Or is all of his success attributed to his famously specific diet? This dude hasn't had sugar in like 14 years. No wonder he's able to pull off the impossible. I had a toaster strudel for breakfast and now my tummy hurts. But why am I making this video? Well, because a few days ago on February 1st, Tom Brady finally retired from the NFL, which means someone has to take his place. And that's where I come in. Slightly above average height? Check. Total underdog story? Check. Lives within reasonable driving distance of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers practice facility? Check. And just like Tom, everything I do for my son. My son is 4 inches tall, he lives in this box, and as of 1 minute ago, he's now available for purchase for a limited time at youtooz.com. But if I'm gonna become the new starting quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'll need to eat like Tom. I'll need to train like Tom. At least for about a month. That should do it. So starting on February 14th, the day after the Super Bowl, because I'm probably gonna eat a lot of crap that night, I will begin my transformation. But first, I have to prepare. Like a lot of mega popular athletes do, Sweet Thomas has very much turned his identity into a brand. It's called the TB12 method. He has 2 books about it. He has his own recipes, his own workout gear and supplements and hats and podcasts and training centers and Vital Fit tart cherry. Congrats, Tom. While this chapter is closing, the best is yet to come. You know, I hate to say it, but I don't think that's true. Some people just peak early in life. There's nothing wrong with that. You think anyone's gonna give a shit about me in 20 years? Hell no. I gotta savor this while I can. So this says get started, but then there's so much shit here that I don't even know where to begin. Oh wait,
Yeah, I do. I'm getting the Big Tom.
Tom Brady drinks 200 to 300 ounces of water on active days. Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm gonna have to get a second bladder surgically inserted into my body if I drink this much water. Oh, here we go. They have starter packs. Here's what people are saying. But it's not customer testimony, it's just their employees. No biases here. Guys, people have been raving about my YouTube videos. Don't believe me? Just ask my mom. You know, I am actually wondering what Brian thinks.
Hey everyone, Brian Hart here, body coach down in Tampa Bay. By far my favorite product that TB12 has is the TB12 electrolytes. Helps me stay hydrated, gives me energy, prevents muscle cramping, tastes great.
Does it? I saw that eye roll. Believe me, this stuff is awesome.
TB12 plant-based protein,
right.
TB12 omega.
Okay.
One of the products that I really have loved recently is the TB12 sleep. And I don't really struggle to sleep or go to sleep.
This stuff is amazing. I don't need it, and I've never actually taken it before, but Tom said I had to throw in a fourth thing, and so I just picked one randomly.
I wake up every morning feeling awesome after I take that TB12 sleep.
Yeah, I can tell. You're like a ball of energy.
Feel free to go to tb12sports.com.
What a coincidence. That's a website I was already on. Oh, I guess I should probably just get the Tom pack. Sorry, Brian. In his honor, I will at least get his favorite flavor of electrolytes, and I will think about you every time I drink them. Okay. So it's $200, and that's just the first page. Gonna be another $216 just for the equipment. That at least seems more reasonable. What was the other one? Vitamins and protein powder. And I'm supposed to buy that every month? Well, it's a good thing I'm only doing this for one. Oh, you have to subscribe to it? But what if I don't want to? Why is it $600? I got the Tom pack. The starter home gym pack should be $425, and it is $600. What the fuck, Tom? I mean, yeah, I have the water bottle in here too, but that's only $65. Oh, I see. Once you go to check out, they sneakily raise the price of the exercise equipment by $111. That's cool. No, I get it. I would do the same thing if I was the worst. You know what though? I have to suck it up. I'm trying to change my life here. I want to live to be 300 years old, and you can't put a price on that. So I guess I'm already out $600. And I haven't even bought any food yet. It's funny, I've always heard the main criticism of the TB12 brand is that it's overly expensive and inaccessible to the average person, but I actually think we're off to a great start. Oh my God, I still have to buy the book. I almost forgot. They're sold out on the website, so I have to settle for an acceptable used copy from Amazon. Would I like to spend half of that on a new copy? Of course I would. But then I won't get it for a month, and I'm trying to start this diet in a few days. What are you gonna do? Before I forget, I should also go ahead and cancel my subscriptions while I'm here. Luckily, they've made it as difficult as possible by making you do one at a time. Hello. My first impression when I saw this in front of my door was that this box is way bigger than I thought it would be. And then I remembered I bought the Big Tom. So I'm picturing that that's pretty much taking up most of the space. It's just like a giant fat water bottle, and then everything else is just pushed into the corner. Forgot my box cutter. I'll be right back. Best thing about the moon pod is how easy it is to get up. Sorry about that. There's the Big Tom. There it is. Wow, these are fancy. Glass jars. Everything's kind of dusty, which is fun. Oh. Because this popped open and there's very expensive protein dust all over this box. And I got my electrolyte, my vibrating pliability sphere. So that's all the stuff that I put in my body. Now for what I put my body on top of. To be honest, I kind of blindly just bought the starter kit. I didn't really look at what was in it. I just assumed, you know, this is good for Tom, it's good for me. But I did end up doubling up on water bottles, and I don't know what anything else is. Don't know why they gave me a little bag, when clearly that's not big enough to put all this stuff in. I got a vibrating pliability sphere and also a vibrating pliability roller. Lots of different shapes in which I can vibrate. This is just like a phone stand that they threw in here. Don't know what I was expecting. It's gonna be a journey figuring out what to do with all this crap. So got some pills to pop here. Thanks, Tom, for that. You've got sleep, which is pretty self-explanatory. I'll try this once, but I'm probably not gonna take this every night because I don't like melatonin. It makes me feel weird and gives me really crazy dreams, and I don't want that. But then you've got the other two. This one is like brain pills, daily support for mind-body performance, and then the other one is for like joint support. But this is one I'm really intrigued by. For like a year, I used to take something called Alpha Brain, and I'm pretty sure it was just a placebo, but I would take it every time I filmed or wrote anything, and I felt like it helped, like I could think more clearly, but again, it might have just been I told myself that I would be more focused, and then I was more focused, so who's to say? But this shit was personally engineered by the greatest quarterback of all time, and if anyone knows something about brain performance, it's Tom Brady. So let's see what happens. I don't know, I didn't really, whoa! What's going on? I have so many thoughts. I think I'm finally using 100% of my brain, just like Bradley Cooper in that Limitless movie. Oh my God, the ideas. I can't stop them. Hey, sorry to bother you. I know you're at work right now, but I had to call you. I just thought of a new invention. Silent ice. It's just like regular ice, but it doesn't make any noise. I did it. I finally finished my book. Wow, what a productive day. I even managed to move my couch into the middle of the room like I've been meaning to. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and hit the hay. Never mind, it has been 4 minutes. I don't really know what to say about the supplements because I've taken them a bunch now and I kind of feel the same, but I've also been taking multivitamins every day for several years and those don't make me feel any different. So does that mean I should stop taking them? It's hard to judge something that is supposed to have this like silent effect on your body. So they may not actually do anything, but at least they're very expensive. The best thing about them though is that they don't taste like anything because you're also supposed to drink these electrolytes every day, multiple times a day. First thing you do when you wake up. I excitedly tried the lemon one first, and let me just tell you, it is one of the grossest things I've ever tasted in my life.
Tastes great.
It doesn't taste so much like lemonade as it does lemon pledge. I did actually just notice today that they also sent me the same thing but in packet form. So I'm pretty sure there's like a powder instead of something that's already a liquid. Maybe that'll make it taste better? Oh, thank God. Okay, this is way better. This is a huge relief because drinking electrolytes is very much part of Tom's daily routine, and I physically was not able to drink the other one. It was so gross. And it's not like, oh, it doesn't taste like Gatorade. This isn't very good. I don't need it to taste like Gatorade. I don't need it to taste sweet. Honestly, I don't need it to taste like anything. Good thing they also have one called unflavored. This has no flavor. It's just gonna go in my water. I'm not even gonna notice it's there. It's just gonna taste like nothing, right? No, this shit just tastes like salt. I'm just relieved that a lot of the reviews say the same thing and I'm not the only one going crazy here. This person said it tasted like watered down cough syrup. That's a good description. I love Tom, but I threw away the electrolytes. Terrible taste. The electrolytes did not agree with me, and I agree with you. I think when I run out of these packets, I'll just buy a different brand of electrolytes and hope they don't also taste like shit. As previously discussed, Tom Brady loves water. You think this is a lot? This jug that weighs almost 5 pounds when full? Well, he drinks 5 of these every day. My goal for this has been to at least drink 3 of these a day because that's still on the low end of the spectrum. And 3 a day is doable, but it's also a lot. There are a few things that I don't love about the water bottle. For one, it takes about 90 seconds for me to fill it up all the way because it's so goddamn big. It's also so heavy and bulky that you need to use 2 hands to drink out of it, and it makes you look like a baby drinking out of a sippy cup. It's too wide to fit in a cup holder, so it kind of just jostles around in my car as I drive. And unless it's more than halfway full, I can't drink out of it while I drive without it hitting the ceiling. But do you think I'm gonna ever drive somewhere without having a little beverage in my car? Hell no. But all of that pales in comparison to the worst thing about drinking this much water, which is that I now pee roughly 600 times per day. Sometimes I'll just drink and pee at the same time because I know I'm gonna have to do it in 5 minutes anyway. It really makes me mad that Amanda and I thought it would be funny to have the Pledge of Allegiance in our guest bathroom, but now the joke's on me because I have to recite it every time I go in there. I did the math and I don't think I've gone an entire 2-hour period without having to go to the bathroom. And that made me realize that Tom Brady pees his pants. It's not like they have a bathroom on the sideline. It's not like you can call a timeout to do a potty break. This legend, this sports hero, has been running around on the field with piss in his uniform. Gross! I looked up to you, man. Anyway, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but someone had to say something. This book's not too crazy. A lot of the stuff I had heard before, like how he was born on a spaceship and came out the womb holding a football. But the thing that's weird about this is, like, this is supposed to be the Tom Brady Bible. But there are things I've read online about him that contradict some of the stuff I've read in here. Like, apparently he doesn't eat nightshades, peppers, tomatoes, but then there's recipes in here that include those things. He's famously on a plant-based diet, but almost all of the recipes have meat in them. So maybe this book is not as all-encompassing as I hope. It might be because they didn't want to include every restriction here so as to not scare people off. Or maybe it's that some of the things Tom Brady believes in aren't actually backed up by science, so they're like, hey, just because Tom does that doesn't mean you have to too. You know, I've read a bunch of books like this before. A bunch. I've read like 2 books like this before. And the funny thing is, I feel like I always agree with almost everything they say. I just forget to actually do it. We all have one body and one life, and you should make it a priority to treat that body and life as respectfully as possible. And it's like, of course, what a beautiful mindset. Of course, I'm going to only eat the healthiest foods I can so my body can function as healthily and as prosperously as possible. And oh my God, is it 1 a.m. already? I'm gonna have a snack. Part of the reason I wanted to make this video is just to force myself to do it. I'm so bad at self-discipline, but I'm really good at making excuses. Like, I've had a long day today. I deserve this. I deserve to go to Twisty Treat. Twisty Treat is a restaurant shaped like ice cream, because they sell ice cream. Obviously, life would be really fucking boring if you never ate anything fun, but there has to be a balance to it, one that I rarely achieve. But one thing I've realized as an adult is that if I don't hold myself accountable, no one else will, because it's not their responsibility, it's mine. I have to do it, so I will do it. So let's start off with what you're not allowed to eat. You're not allowed to have dairy, or bread, or fast food, or soda, or things with added sugar, or overly processed foods that have a bunch of preservatives. Let me tell you the betrayal I felt when I found out these snap peas aren't actually healthy at all. They're not even real peas, they're just cleverly engineered to look like them. Everything is always too good to be true. Whatever, I'm not mad. You can have alcohol, but in extreme moderation, and I just went ahead and didn't have any because beer makes me want pizza. You can only have a little bit of caffeine, which thankfully wasn't much of a change for me. Something happened a couple years ago, and ever since then I've had an extremely low tolerance to caffeine, even though I drink coffee every single day. But I usually don't even finish 1 cup because I know if I drink it all, I'm gonna get all jittery and probably end up with a headache. You know what my Starbucks order is? I get a venti cold brew and then slowly drink it over the course of 4 days. That's not a joke, that's just my life. As far as what you are supposed to eat, it's pretty much a lot of vegetables all the time. Mostly just vegetables, actually. And you have to buy organic produce, preferably sourced locally, otherwise Tom will come to your house and kill you. According to the book, it's because non-organic food tends to have less nutrients in it, and also when food has to travel really far, it loses nutrients. I don't know how true that is, but man, was it depressing to have to ignore all the regular fruit that was on sale so I could get the special version of it. So I'll get to the meals themselves in a little bit, but there were 2 things that I've eaten every single day. Number 1, I have a smoothie with spinach and blueberries and most of a banana and almond butter and Tom powder and Greek yogurt and almond milk. These I don't mind at all. They taste really good and they fill me up for a few hours. I actually used to make smoothies like this all the time until one day our blender broke, and instead of buying a new one, I was just like, all right, well, guess I'm not doing that anymore. The hardest thing about these smoothies is that you always run out of different ingredients at different times. And it's like, am I really gonna go to the store right now just to get blueberries? For the sake of this video, yes. Yes, I am. The other thing I get to eat every single day is homemade guacamole. This is, for some reason, an absolute staple of the TB12 diet. Well, it's a good thing finding perfectly ripe avocados every single day isn't like hard to do or anything. Otherwise, this would be really annoying. For me, this was the first major example of this diet being 100 times more doable if you have someone else go buy ingredients and prepare food for you. Tom's not going to the grocery store. He throws a few footballs around and then yells, "Feed me," and an army of TB12 assistants come to shovel kale into his mouth. Now, if you're like me, you might be thinking, guacamole every day? That sounds awesome. But remember, you can't eat them with chips. That would be too easy. So usually I just add it to whatever meal I'm eating, or I'll dip celery or carrots into it and scarf it down that way. As far as grocery trips go, I've been doing them a lot. Basically every 2 to 4 days. I probably could have consolidated some of these trips, but I get overwhelmed when my grocery list is way too long, so I would split it up into smaller trips and only get like 1 or 2 meals at a time. And I will say the meals in this book are all pretty good. This salad is stupidly easy to make, so that's been a go-to for me. The cauliflower you make with this salmon is fucking great, so I don't even mind the fact that you have to eat like 12 pounds of it every time. And the chicken and lentils recipe is really good too, although the Dijon mustard flavor can be a little bit much when you're having leftovers, and at that point, it has soaked into every single ingredient. I even got to make my own hummus. That was pretty fun. So really, I have almost nothing but good things to say about all of these recipes, except there is the one.
I tried making one of Tom's famous fish taco bowls and everything went wrong. The cod completely fell apart as I was trying to cook it, so it was basically ground fish. The sauce was way too runny and just tasted like sesame seeds. The beans were all wet.
The worst part is that it's been about 14 hours and the whole house smells like fish. Still.
To make my life a little bit easier, I have been ordering the same meal prep service that I've used for a while now. Only where before I was mostly doing it out of convenience, now I have to make sure I'm pretty much only eating chicken and vegetables or fish and vegetables. This takes care of 5 lunches a week, so I only have to worry about breakfast and dinner and then what I'm gonna eat on the weekends. I would say my biggest takeaway so far is that what you do eat is a lot more important than what you don't eat. I've had a couple of 2 or 3 day stretches in here where I don't really have the energy to cook, so then I don't eat enough, so then I don't have any energy, so then I don't cook any food. It's not enough to just not eat sugar. Just because I'm not eating McDonald's doesn't mean I'm doing a good job or being healthy. I need to have like a checklist of things that I do eat every single day, otherwise it's inevitable that I end up going crazy one night and eating half a block of cheese at 1 a.m. Am I saying that because that's what I did last night? Yes. But I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. I'm just gonna go outside and spike some footballs and get right back on track. So I'm about 2 weeks into eating like Tom Brady, and I can't say a lot has changed. I did notice that I've started floating. I don't really know how I'm doing it. I just know that whenever I go to walk somewhere, I am now levitating off the ground. If I had to guess, I would assume that my body has simply transcended past the need for gravity, which is cool. I don't think I used to be able to do that. At least not that I remember. I love how this box they gave me is just filled to the brim with crap, and yet there's no instruction manual of any kind. I don't know what any of this stuff does. I mean, I know what this bag does. I've used a bag before. So I was looking at some of the exercises in the book, and I kept getting confused on like, okay, I see that you're supposed to pull on the rope, but what is the rope attached to? And the photos don't help because it sort of just fades off into the void. But I realized one of the things in here was this like door strap. So I should be able to strap this to my door and then connect things to it, hopefully without breaking the door in the process. The issue with this for me though is most of the doors in my house, there's not a lot of room in front of them to maneuver and do things. So I'm gonna have to be doing most of my workouts in my laundry room. I'm realizing maybe I didn't put the camera in the right spot for this because I did the whole thing and I don't think you could see any of it. All right, looks pretty good, I think. Still worried this is somehow gonna break my door? If it does, I'll just ask Tom to buy me a new one. I now have something else I'm deathly afraid of, which is that while I'm doing one of these exercises, the back will snap, propel forward into the back of my head, and I will immediately die. The good news is if that does happen, I will at least get it on camera.
I should probably clue you in on what's going on here. So something that seems to be unique to Tom's workout is his emphasis on pliability. And I'll let him explain it for me.
Pliability is at the core of the TB12 lifestyle. Use a TB12 vibrating pliability roller or sphere to target the muscle groups you're using.
So basically, before and after every workout, I gotta roll this thing all over my muscles.
There are two parts to pliability. Active muscle work, active muscle work, active muscle work.
This is how you play football.
Finally, with just a few days left, having transformed into the best shape of my adult life, which unfortunately does not mean anything, it's time to hit the field.
Hi, my name's Drew Gooden. I'm over 4 feet tall, and this is my audition for the role of quarterback. Dear Roger Goodell, President of Football, I am politely demanding that you have me signed to one or all NFL teams as soon as possible. Obviously, my talent and positional versatility should speak for themselves, but I also have other attributes I can bring to the table that will make me instantly marketable as the new face of the league. Number one, I'm charitable. When this crazed fan came up to me and demanded my attention, I didn't throw 100 footballs at her face until she went away, even though I wanted to. I took the time to take multiple photos with her, a memory I'm sure she'll treasure forever. Reason number two, I'm already friends with several Hall of Fame athletes like Rob Gronkowski, Jeff Gordon, and Air Bud from the movie Air Bud. I believe these connections will help me thrive in the NFL. After all, it's a relationship game, not a football game. Reason number three, I think I could do a touchdown dance. And the final and most important reason why I should be immediately given a lifetime contract is that I am desperate for money. Over the past month, I have spent all of my life savings trying to do the Tom Brady diet, and now my house is being foreclosed. Not to be nosy or anything, but I saw how much you're giving some of these other guys, and I decided, can I have some?
I'll do any position. I'll even be punter. Please let me play.
Anyway, I hope you consider me for the role of quarterback. Have a wonderful day.
What the fuck? You're telling me I lost 5 pounds and felt great for a month and I have nothing to show for it because I can't even play professional football?
Get you, Tom.
Ooh, I just know for a fact that I am the person most negatively affected by this. Okay, so maybe I am the person second most negatively affected by this. So I'm gonna break down my final thoughts on this by answering 2 questions. Number 1, is the TB12 diet good? Yeah. With the exception of the one disaster, all the meals were tasty and they got easier to prepare the more I made them. And a lot of the restrictions are easier to pull off than it seemed at first, as long as you don't think about what you're missing out on. Like, it's really daunting when you start off and you think, oh man, I can't have this or this or this. But then you get going and you're just focusing on the food that you are making and you realize it's been 2 weeks since you thought about pizza. I'm proud to say I only cracked twice. There was the cheese incident, and I also went to Taco Bell one day because I was kind of going through it. But I think it's good to at least have one meal every once in a while that you can look forward to. Otherwise, you're gonna lose motivation pretty fast. In hindsight, yeah, maybe I should have swung for something better than a 5-layer burrito, but at the time, it's all I could think about. Other than that, the meals were all just good enough to keep me from daydreaming about junk food. But the other question is, given the financial and time investment necessary to pull this diet off, how feasible is it? And that's a little bit trickier. It would be dumb of me to ignore the obvious advantage that I had while doing this, which is that I was able to put my job on hold for a while by turning the diet into my job. And even still, there were days where I'm like, fuck, it's 5 o'clock already? I don't want to cook. I just made food yesterday and now I gotta do it again? When will it end? And I tried to imagine what it would have been like to try to do this back when I had a 45-minute commute to my carpentry job, where I'd be lucky to get home before 6 o'clock, and I'm tired and I'm sore, and now I have to prepare this complicated ass meal. And whoops, our broccoli went bad. Should I go to Publix? No, I'm gonna go to Chipotle for the 3rd day in a row. You know what would be nice? If there were more convenient, healthy food options. The best I could find around me is a place called Fresh Kitchen, and it's pretty good, don't get me wrong, but the bowls are like $15. Also, I don't even know if that place is healthy. Did you know that restaurants aren't required to provide nutritional information unless they have over 20 locations? I didn't know that till I tried to look it up. And yeah, you can always drive through somewhere to get a fast food salad, but not only do I not want to eat salad every day, but a lot of the time, the salads have more calories than the regular food that they sell. Without a doubt, the best way to follow the TB12 diet is to have multiple fresh cooked meals every single day. And the easiest way to do that is to pay someone to cook them for you. But I'm not gonna do that And you're not gonna do that. So who the fuck is gonna do that? Following this diet is possible, but it's expensive and it's time consuming and you have to sacrifice a lot of convenience in order to make it work. And just like with all diets, you have to be patient. If you're hoping to lose weight, it could take 2 weeks before you even move the needle at all. So really, in the short term, there are almost no noticeable differences. Like I remember my dad asking me after a couple weeks how I felt, and I thought about it and I was like, just kind of normal, I think. For some reason, I guess I thought, I'm eating all these superfoods. I'm gonna feel amazing. These omega-3s are gonna be coursing through my veins. But I realized it's more so just an absence of feeling bad. It's been a week or so since I officially finished doing the diet for a month, and I've tried not to stray too far from it since then, but I've loosened up the restrictions. Like the other day, I had a milkshake, and it was fucking delicious. It was so good. I don't regret it at all. But I felt like garbage afterward. I was in a bad mood. I was groggy and irritable and I went to bed really early for some reason. Same thing happened when we had pizza a few days later. It was the best pizza I've ever had in my life. At least it felt like it at the time, you know how it is. But it also made me feel like shit. I was so full, but I was also really grumpy. I kept getting annoyed at everything. It kind of ruined my night. And when I thought about it the next day, I was like, I think I'm good on pizza for a while. It also gave me acid reflux, which made me realize that I had not had that for the entire month that I was on the diet. So now that I think about it, maybe I'm onto something here. So food good, diet good, but everything outside of the meals, I could take it or leave it. The electrolytes are disgusting. The vitamins cost like $2 a pill. The water bottle's nice, but you're essentially paying an extra $40 just to have Tom Brady's name on it. And I love the guy, but not that much. The exercise equipment was a pretty good deal as far as I can tell. I'll let you know if all that shit just starts breaking one day. But ultimately, for a lifestyle change as drastic and as costly as this can be, I wouldn't recommend starting it off by wasting a couple $100 on a bunch of the less necessary crap. Just save that money for all the fish you're gonna have to eat. I know there's probably gonna be a lot of people who watch this video and think, whoa, you went on a diet for a month? That's crazy. What are you, like a regular person? And that's fine, but I'm proud of myself for doing this. It's not that I don't normally pay attention to what I eat and try to eat as healthy as possible, but I'm certainly not very consistent about it. So every day that I would get through the entirety of without making any bad dietary choices, it felt good laying in bed that night knowing I did a good job. And the more I stacked those days on top of each other, the better I felt overall. And I also realized when I'm only having one truly bad meal every week or two, it makes it taste so much better, because I've earned this. I'm gonna savor this shit. Again, I know these are very basic human principles that a lot of people are gonna hear and be like, yeah, Drew, it is hard. Everyone struggles with cravings and making good choices. It's not like extremely healthy people were just born with a different brain and they never think about how good ice cream would taste right now. They just have better self-discipline than I do. Anyway, this is a diet that I've wanted to try for several years, and maybe it's a good thing that Tom pretended to retire for just long enough to make me actually do it, because if he didn't, I probably wouldn't have. I'm still kind of pissed that he took my spot on the team, but I'll try not to hold a grudge. Well, I think I have finally run out of things to say. I've been working on this video for almost 2 months now, and I'm ready to be done. Hey guy, what the hell's going on TV?
Every woman is only me.
I got cable again recently because sports are back on and I wanted to be able to look at them, and I am so confused. So for the past couple years, Fox has had a show called The Masked Singer, and I would be lying if I said it wasn't extremely entertaining.
I knew it! I knew it! It's Ninja! I knew it the whole time!
What made you want to do The Masked Singer, other than come mess with me?
The fuck you say to me, you little shit?
Basically, it's a show where you can't see the contestants, but you can hear them, and you have to guess what they look like. But now they have this other show where you can't hear the contestants, but you can see them, and you have to guess what they sound like. So it's pretty innovative. It was while watching the show that I was reminded of how everything on TV seems like it's a spin-off of something that already exists. First, there was American Idol, which was actually derived from a British show called Pop Idol. Much like The Office, America took the idea, milked it dry, and then ran it into the ground long after everyone's favorite character left. But by modern reality TV standards, it was actually a pretty simple concept. It's just a straightforward singing competition. However, it became so popular that the question became, how do we rip it off? Oh, I have an idea. I'm all ears. What about American Idol, but instead of one singer at a time, there's two of them? Ooh, very nice. Okay, what if we did one that was like American Idol, except they have to sing a cappella? Yeah, that's different enough. We'll do 5 seasons of that? Oh wait, what if we did one where they couldn't see the singers before they voted for them? And the judges would compete too? Sure, I'm not gonna watch it. Oh, I got an idea. What about American Idol except they're all country singers? Yeah, you can do that, but that's gonna go on your network. Fine by me. Okay, what about American Idol, but they have to write their own songs? Love it. Oh, what about American Idol, but they have to write their own songs? Love it. Hey, I just said that. Wait, Brian, are you even awake? Huh? Yeah. Well, since you've been paying attention, why don't you tell everyone your idea? I was going to. Well, it's like American Idol, obviously. Except, they're all wearing costumes? Brian? That is brilliant. Everyone, give it up for Brian.
And then in a couple years, we'll just do the opposite.
I'm realizing I probably could have just made a whole video about weird singing competitions because, oh my god, there's so many of them. Did you know they did one in 2008 where the grand prize was if you won, you'd get to be in High School Musical 3? Sort of. He doesn't have like a speaking role, so he's pretty hard to miss, but if you look closely, that's him right... Oh wait, sorry, I gotta fast forward a little bit. Right there. And there he goes. Well, at least the show is pretty good. Anyway, back to I Can See Your Voice, the epitome of network TV laziness. Much like The Avengers, it seems like all these singing competitions live inside the same cinematic universe. Ken Jeong went from being a judge on The Masked Singer to the host of this show, which is judged by Nick Lachey, who is the host of everything else. Really not a whole lot else to say about the show, but I do want to point out something I thought was interesting. When I was watching it, something felt off, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. It's very fake, obviously, all of these shows are, but this one felt even more so, and I finally found out why. According to Wikipedia, they only completed one episode before the pandemic started and production had to be stopped, so they didn't film the rest until August, this time without an audience. But when you watch the show, it's edited as if there's an audience there. They cut to the audience members cheering and laughing. They do this a lot, actually.
G.I. Jane, what ranking are you?
Sergeant First Class.
Wow, oh, wow.
Come to find out, all of those shots are recycled from other shows. All of the crowd noise is put in post. And when they do a wide shot of the entire studio, you can see that the audience not only looks nothing like the shots that they intersperse, there's not nearly enough rows of people, but it's actually just a screen showing a virtual audience. If you look closely, it's the same image on both sides, only mirrored. Now, I'm just pointing this out because I thought it was interesting. I'm glad that they did it this way. I would much rather they do it like this than try to cram a bunch of people in a studio, risking their lives just so they can watch this.
Tell me how you gonna be without me.
But it at least explains on a subconscious level why this is so uncomfortable to watch.
And that is a medical fact.
So the next big genre of television, and the one that consistently brings in the highest ratings, is the government organization that catches bad guys show. You've got CSI, CSI Miami, CSI New York, NCIS, NCIS Los Angeles, NCIS New Orleans, Blue Bloods, Law & Order SVU, SWAT, SEAL Team, 911, 911 Lone Star, Criminal Minds, Chicago PD, Magnum PI, The Rookie, FBI, FBI Most Wanted, and I'm just gonna stop there because I think you get the idea. Lately, a lot of people have been speculating that the reason these shows are so prevalent is because they act as a form of propaganda, making us love and respect the government and see them as the good guys. And while that might be somewhat true, I really think it's just because they're popular. By design, these shows tend to be more episodic. There aren't necessarily a bunch of through lines you need to be following to jump in halfway into a season. Every episode tends to be an open and shut case, so there's that immediate resolution, and the characters are usually pretty easy to figure out. Oh, that guy's a cop? And that guy's a cop? Okay, I think I got it. That being said, I fucking hate these shows, and they're all the same.
Hey Mike, I'm gonna take out the trash like I always do. A dead body? That wasn't there before. Well, gentlemen, looks like we have all the evidence we need to pin this on the obvious suspect. Wait, main character? What are you doing? I don't know, something's not right here.
I have a hunch. Now's not the time to go rogue, kid. We got our man. Now let's go grab something to eat. I'm so confused. This just doesn't make sense. Sense. 6 cents. Haley Joel Osment.
What's going on here?
You're under arrest, Haley. For murder.
Okay, why not? I'll go with you guys.
I believe someone owes me an apology. All right, I'll swallow my pride. You did good, rookie. But just so you know, if this was real life, your antics would have gotten you fired. What?
Then, of course, you have essentially the same subgenre, but with doctors instead. There's Grey's Anatomy, Scrubs, Chicago Med, The Good Doctor, Attaway General, Rugrats MD. Even if you want to delve into the depths of cable, your best bet for entertainment is probably going to be in the so bad it's good category. Also known as the, these people are idiots, but I can't stop watching them category. This is gonna be your TLC shows, Bravo, the CWE. You've also got the Travel Channel if you don't wanna watch people travel anywhere and you just like ghosts. If you're hungry, there's the Guy Fieri Channel. If you're white, there's HGTV.
We are going to love it.
Oh, come on. They always love it.
Many of the channels that I used to watch religiously either aren't around anymore or have just become functionally obsolete. SportsCenter used to be the coolest show on the planet. But now that you can just watch the highlights of any game on your phone, there's no reason to turn on ESPN unless you want to watch two guys yell at each other even though they're both wrong.
No. Yes!
My other favorite channel growing up was G4, if any of you guys remember that. When I was in high school, I would come home almost every day and watch X-Play and Attack of the Show. I loved that channel. At that point in time, you couldn't just watch original content centered around video games. It didn't exist. Obviously, things have changed a lot since then in that regard. I mean, Disney XD straight up just plays Jacksepticeye videos now. But even with this shifting landscape, I feel like G4 could have kept evolving. They could have been one of the pioneers of this new age of content. But instead, they decided to just cancel all their original programming and start playing 24-hour marathons of Cops. Good plan, guys. And then there's IFC, which I think a lot of people may not realize is responsible for many of the best comedies of the 2010s. Portlandia, Comedy Bang Bang, Documentary Now. These might as well be Netflix originals because that's where 99% of people watch them anyway, but they're technically not. Even though, yeah, I guess you could just watch them on Netflix. Now, there's still plenty of reasons to get TV if you want it. There's live events like sports, the Big Brother eviction episodes, the debates. Okay, yeah, so maybe it's just sports. But if you don't like sports, which you probably don't because you're watching my channel, don't worry, there's still 20 random-ass movies playing at any given point, which you can watch the way that movies were meant to be seen, in 720p, censored, and constantly interrupted by commercials. Let's be honest though, and I've talked about this before, but the best thing cable has going for it is that it's just always on. If you got like 15 minutes to sit down and eat your lunch, you could easily spend that entire time just scrolling through the Netflix selection page, or, hey look, a random episode of The Office I've already seen. You catch the last half of it, you eat your sandwich, and you manage to go your entire lunch break without being alone with your thoughts for even 1 second. And I'd call that a success. But the problem is, if you were to think about all the pros and cons of cable and then without doing any research, assign a price to that in your head, it's probably a single-digit number. Let's see, for $12.99 a month, I can use Netflix, an internet library with 1 billion movies and TV shows that I can share with someone else, and we can watch 2 different things in different places at the same time. Or, you know, there's cable, where I can watch Animal Planet and sometimes the news, but I'm going to be spending half that time sitting through commercials. My brain tells me that something like that should cost $0 because I now subconsciously associate being advertised to with free services like YouTube videos or the Words with Friends app. But since cable does offer a few things that you can't get anywhere else, let's say it should be like $10 a month. What's that? It's like $100? So Netflix is $13, Hulu is $12, HBO Max is $15, and Disney Plus is $7. Even if I were to get all 4 of those, it would still be cheaper than almost any cable provider. Like I could get cable for $66 a month if I go through the same company I use for my internet, who I hate. This is a company that has the audacity to charge me extra for sending me my bill, even though before we started using them for internet, they sent us junk mail every day for 2 years. So I guess it's not that expensive to mail stuff. This is also the company that when we set up internet here charged me a $200 activation fee, when all the guy did was plug the modem into the wall and give me a thumbs up. But to be fair, that $200 is nothing compared to the potential hospital bills I could have accrued had I tried to plug that thing in myself. Do I use my mouth to plug it in? Yeah, so safe to say I'm not a big fan of Spectrum, but let's humor them for a second and pretend that I thought this double play silver package was a rockin' deal that I had to take advantage of. First, we need to figure out the actual cost, because if I know Spectrum, and unfortunately I do, there's gonna be some hidden fees. Obviously, gonna be an activation fee, there's no way around that. They're gonna charge you to come hook everything up. In this case, it's a $50 one-time fee. Really not too bad, but just keep that in mind as we keep going and things start getting worse. If you look closely at your bill, you may notice a broadcast TV service fee. For Spectrum, it's an extra $13.50 a month. So if the price you saw was $66, it's actually going to be closer to $80 for now. You might be thinking, what is a broadcast TV service fee? And do I have to pay that? Well, it's made up bullshit, and yes, you do. If you dig real deep into Spectrum's fine print, they'll tell you that due to some law that was passed 28 years ago, local TV channels charge us so much to broadcast them that we're simply forced to pass those charges on to you. The word forced is, of course, being used incorrectly here because the only thing forcing them to do this is their own desire to bankrupt each and every one of their customers. Sorry guys, but the prices now demanded by broadcast stations have necessitated that we pass these costs on to customers. Okay, well, how much do they charge you? It sounds like it's a lot. Oh, sorry, we can't provide that information. You're just gonna have to trust us. We've earned your trust, right? So to reiterate, this $13.50 is a non-negotiable fee that will be tacked onto your bill every single month for as long as you have cable. So why isn't it included in the advertised price? Well, because then it wouldn't look like as good of a deal, which it already didn't. This is an extremely misleading and unethical marketing practice that's used to convince people the cost of something is lower than it actually is, so they commit to paying for it before they realize they're being overcharged. It's so deceptive, in fact, that in 2016, Comcast had to refund $700,000 to customers after a class action lawsuit over this exact practice. Pretty cool, huh? Well, there's more. Up next, we have a DVR service charge, which is another $5 a month. Unless you have more than one cable box, then it's $10. Let's see, the DVR was invented in 1999, but sure, let's not include it in the advertised price, even though at this point it's a commonly standard feature one would expect to be included in any cable package. It even says here that the DVR is built into the cable box. But no, that'll be extra. And then there's perhaps the most egregious fee, an $8 monthly charge for the TV receiver and remote. Look, I understand if they want to charge you for the cable box, sure, but a monthly fee? Does the remote get more expensive as time goes on? Is it gonna grow more buttons next month? Let's say, God forbid, you paid for Spectrum TV for 5 years before canceling it. In that time, you will have paid $480 extra just to be able to use the remote. So for those of you playing along at home, without the addition of any extra content, any premium channels or anything extra whatsoever, the $66 price that you saw advertised on the website is actually $97. This is what they advertise, and this is what you're actually paying for the first year, because then after 12 months, the price goes up another $25. Why did we raise the price, you ask? Well, because we fucking hate you. That means after 1 year of using Spectrum TV, you will now be paying double what was advertised to you just so you can watch this. Now, maybe they're not all that bad. Obviously, I haven't used every single cable provider. We did have DirecTV for a little bit, which I got because I wanted to use the NFL Sunday Ticket thing. And if there's one thing the NFL loves, it's using monopolies to destroy their product. And in my experience, that worked pretty well.
as long as rain doesn't exist where you live. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at a lot of buffering symbols. The other problem was they made me sign a 2-year contract, which was fine at first, but 7 months later, we had to move out of that house because it was being eaten by termites. Then the apartment complex we moved to told us we're not allowed to have a satellite dish on the roof. So I called DirecTV and told them that, and they said, well, we think you're allowed to have a satellite on the roof, so you have to keep paying us. The bad news is I had to pay a big cancellation fee, but the good news is they let us keep the satellite dish. And now I use it as a soup bowl. Luckily, it's not 2006 anymore. You don't have to have cable if you want to watch TV. There are plenty of cord cutting options available, and right off the bat, I'm going to be bold here and say all of them are better than cable. Every single one of these is more flexible and probably cheaper than just about any cable service you could find. The only reason cable might be a better option for you is if you live in an area where your internet is extremely unreliable, because then if your internet goes out, your TV goes out too. But as far as cable alternatives go, there are a bunch of these to choose from. There's YouTube TV, Sling, Fubo, Philo, Hulu, Zumo. Basically, if you type 4 random letters into Google, it's probably the name of an internet TV provider. It's also worth noting that every single one of these comes with a free trial, so if you just need TV for a couple days to watch like the Super Bowl or the season finale of Real Housewives, just start a trial, watch your show, and then cancel that shit. I won't tell anyone. Personally, I've used these 3, and they're all pretty decent. Sling's pricing options are kind of confusing. They have an orange package and a blue package, and they're conveniently set up so you're going to be missing channels you want either way. But it's only $30 a month, so it's one of the cheapest. Compare that to Fubo and YouTube TV, which are both $65 a month. It's a pretty good deal. It makes sense that these two are the same price because they're extremely similar, although I would give the edge to YouTube TV just because they have unlimited DVR space and more stuff to watch on demand, like the 2016 classic Pixels, starring Kevin James as the president. It also works the same way that YouTube does, where it figures out what you like and tailors your homepage to you. So if I go on right now, they're like sports, 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 sports. Good morning, football. Did you sleep good, football? I made breakfast football. So that's pretty cool. I've never seen an algorithm like that used in a cable service before. All of that being said, it doesn't really matter because I'm gonna cancel it as soon as football season is over, which might be sooner than I expected. So now that we've talked about what's on TV and how to watch TV, I guess the only question left is, what even is TV anymore? Like when your friend says to you, dude, I just started watching this new show. It's so good. You gotta check it out. Your next question is never going to be, what channel is it on? You're just gonna assume they're talking about Netflix, because they probably are. When I was writing this video, I was looking up articles about the best and worst TV shows of 2020. And in those articles, every writer is like, well, the best show I saw was on Hulu, and the worst show I saw was on CBS. The standard for network television is so low now that the only shows that seem to work are dumbass reality shows, weird-ass singing competitions, Wipeout-style obstacle courses, and the 400th season of NCIS. And it's ironic because I truly believe we are in a golden age of television. It seems like every couple weeks people start raving about another 10 out of 10 show that just blew their minds. It's just that none of these are on cable. Ozark, Watchmen, Cobra Kai, Succession, which I will plug in every video. Yet these extremely original, well-written shows with movie-level production, and there's no fluff. They're just condensed into the 10 best episodes, jam-packed with content, and you can watch them all back to back if you want, or, you know.
I'm not seeing enough movement.
And it's probably better this way too, because for the first time in decades, cable is now one of the least accessible mediums. The fact that you even have to call someone and then let them into your house so they can install a box for you is enough for most young people to be like, yeah, I think I'll just keep doing free trials of Hulu. So as the quality continues to decline and the user base continues to age, what does the future of cable look like? It's still several times more expensive than streaming services. There's no ad-free version. And in most cases, you're probably going to end up tied to some shitty cable company that's going to do everything in their power to take every dollar to your name. That's not an attractive package to young people who are new to this market. It's really not even an attractive package to older people, but I think a lot of them just do it because it's what they're used to. With the way things have so drastically evolved in the past few years, I don't think it's inconceivable to think of a future where cable is just a distant, expensive memory. So what does the future look like? Is it just everything's on demand? If you want to see a football game, you just go to like watch.nfl and pay like
$5 per game, or maybe there's a fee for just all of your team's games, or maybe a premium fee for every game if you want to spend that much money. It's not a crazy idea. I'm literally just describing a service that already exists for the NBA and NHL. And as far as other shows go, most of them are already available to stream after the season ends, or in some cases you can pay per episode to watch them on like iTunes the day after they air. The bottom line is, cable companies absolutely suck ass. Hey guy, remember a couple months ago when I wasted like $1,000 on what ended up being almost entirely a bunch of junk? Well, I'm doing that again. It's not that I don't want to save my money, it's that saving money is boring. Why would I let it sit in some bank account all day when I could be investing it in garbage? So for the past few weeks, I've been saving all of my favorite weird-ass Instagram ads, and today I will go through them and charge a concerning amount of money to my credit card. Now, one of the things I bought last time were $89 joggers, which, believe it or not, I'm actually wearing right now.
Jealous.
But my biggest fear in life, besides burning to death, is that one day my pants are gonna fall down in the middle of a grocery store, exposing my bare button balls to everyone there, even the manager. If that happened, I would have to move to a brand new city, and moving is expensive. So the better solution is to buy a belt, and I've got the perfect one in mind.
I've been obsessed with belts for a long time. I wear a belt every day.
Hold on, you're obsessed with belts? I like belts. They get the job done, but I wouldn't exactly say I'm obsessed with them. I'm not lying awake at night just thinking about belts.
So the belt's really cool because it solves those exact three problems. There's no holes, there's no flap, and it's super flat, like low profile.
And it looks dorky as hell. What a build-up. You've got the inspirational music in the background, all the nonsensical buzzwords.
The webbing's a military webbing that we have custom made for us. It's rated at like 3,000 pounds. It's got just a ton of strength.
What does that even mean? If I'm getting hit by 3,000 pounds of force, the last thing I'm worried about is the strength of my belt buckle.
The buckle that goes with it is an aerospace grade aluminum.
Again, that does not matter. These words mean nothing. I do not need military grade steel around my waist.
Hey, do you like my belt? Not really.
Well, what if I told you that this is the same steel they use to make spaceships?
I would be confused.
And we actually make them ourselves, like in our shop. You can make like 45 combinations, like 3,000 pounds.
This guy really knows his stuff, and that's why I feel comfortable buying one for $35. I figure though, if I'm gonna buy one of these, I might as well go all in on the absurdity and get red. Not a normal color like black or brown. I'm talking bright fucking red. I want people to see my big dumb astronaut belt from miles away. So this next one I've seen a bunch, and it's really not surprising to me. I spend most of my time sitting on my ass, sometimes because I have to, but usually because I want to. And with that comes the occasional lower back pain. Solution? Lay down on a tire and roll back and forth.
What is the difference between a foam roller and a chirp wheel?
I know. The foam roller is longer. There's a lot of pop.
Well, slap my mama!
$99? For 3 little wheels? Wait, so this deal is part of a summer Black Friday sale? First of all, it's Thursday. Second of all, you can't just make up holidays. You know how many birthdays I'd give myself if you could? All of them. Every day's my birthday. So for $99, I can get just the 3 wheels, or I can get the ultimate back pain bundle. Guaranteed to give you back pain. So I think I'm gonna have to do that. It also comes with a carrying case. Where do you think I'm gonna take these? The mall? Go ahead and grab a spot in line, babe. I gotta roll around in the bathroom. And the last thing in the bundle is the posture corrector, which sounds menacing, honestly. There's no explanation on how it works. There's not even a picture of someone wearing it. So I have no clue what to expect or how to use it, but I guess I'll find out. So at this point, it's become clear to me that the algorithm is very aware of my shitty back, because the very next day I got an ad for a nearly identical product, but this one I can put on my chair. Decor Restore Spine Natural Posture. I'll go ahead and grab one of these too so I can compare it with the other one. $40, not so bad, though it doesn't come with a carrying case, so I don't know how I'm gonna take this anywhere. Oh, hold on. You've unlocked a special offer. Get our brand new spine neck
for 40% off. They trademarked that? They trademarked spine neck? I don't think anyone was gonna take that from you, but neck and shoulder muscle relaxer. Wow, and I don't even need a prescription. Cool. But what does it do? Okay, so you kind of just roll around on it. I like that. Effortlessly ease your pain in 10 just minutes. The spine neck creates ultimate relaxation in the neck and shoulder anytime, anywhere. Again, that is not a selling point. I'm not leaving the house with this. Easy to use anywhere, in offices, hotels, car, obviously not while driving. Now, I get pretty stressed out when I'm on the highway. I think that's the perfect time to use it. It's like having a personal massager on your hand 24/7. See, look at this visual representation of that. FAQs. Does it hurt? Not really. Can we take a nap on this? Who is asking that? Can you use it while sitting? Yes. Can you use it while driving? Hell no. Well, I'm sold. Between this and the other 2 back products I bought, I'm expecting my scoliosis to be fully cured. For some reason, the next ad I got was for a big old backpack, which I thought was weird because I'm not in school. I don't go anywhere, actually. I haven't been on a flight in like 2 years. But most importantly, I already have a carrying case for my chirp wheels. So what else am I gonna have to take with me? But I was so fascinated by the marketing strategy here that I felt compelled to buy one.
The Go Bag from Babbling to the Moon. Literally one huge pocket. There's so much space in here.
What? A bag with a pocket? That's crazy.
In addition to this huge pocket, there's also this mesh pocket on the insides. There's this side pocket right here.
Wow. I bet you could put stuff in it.
10 out of 10.
The bag itself is probably fine, but I think this is just a testament to how hard it is to advertise a product that already exists, because there's like nothing else to say. Let me tell you guys, this new product from lamp.com is absolutely incredible. If you've never seen one of these, it will actually turns on and then light comes out of it. I would turn it on right now, but I can't. It's not plugged in anything. They shut the power off in my house. Fits 1 to 3 days worth of clothing. 1 to 3? You're telling me I might only fit 1 outfit in here? 1 shirt, 1 pant, that's it? No wonder the person on the homepage needs 15 of them. 1 for every day. This is easily the dumbest product so far. I have no idea why I'm buying this. I've definitely seen this one before. I'm actually pretty excited to try this out. The comments seem very positive, which is good. But that's also misled me in the past, so I'll tread carefully. Summer sale, 60% off. I refuse to believe that they ever charged $37 for one of these. That's insane. Also, the 2-pack is the most popular. Why would I need 2 of them? 1 for each hand? Yeah, that makes sense. Expertly designed to work perfectly on furniture, carpets, dogs, cars, not while driving. Warehouse in Florida, that's where I live. Hell yeah, I can't wait to clean my carpet. Man, what the fuck? I just bought 2. I don't need a 3rd one. How are you gonna say this is a very limited one-time offer and then also say that a bunch of people have accepted this offer? It sounds like it's neither limited nor one-time. Liars. This next one isn't weird per se. I've just seen this more and more lately on Instagram and YouTube. If you've listened to any podcast in the past year, you've probably heard about Magic Spoon, the cereal that is supposed to taste just like Fruit Loops, but without the sugar and the carbs and the toucan on the box. I am really skeptical about this. I feel like it's gonna taste like shit, but even if it doesn't, it's also stupidly expensive. For $39 plus shipping, you can get the variety pack, which comes out to about $10 per 7-ounce box. By comparison, you can get a 24-ounce box of Frosted Flakes for $4 from Target. 3 times as much food for less than half the price. To be fair, most cereals are just sugary processed garbage, but that's still a pretty substantial price difference. Another reason I'm skeptical is because of the reviews. They have 4.8 out of 5 stars, but I'm not 100% certain that they don't do what MoonPod was doing, which was delete 1 and 2 star reviews from their website. Like,
tyrannical serial overlords. I say this because you can't sort reviews by rating on here, so it's really hard to find a negative one. But all of the top reviews are littered with downvotes. Greatest cereal I've ever had. More downvotes than upvotes. Unbelievably delicious. More downvotes than upvotes. How is this even possible? No sugar, low carb, packed with protein, and it's yummy? Is this some kind of trick? 500 likes, 900 dislikes. What if I just searched the word bad? Not that bad. Okay, well that didn't work. I don't know, maybe I'm just jaded by my own negative experiences, but I'm a little suspicious. That was gonna be the last one for this video, but then I saw one more product that I have to try.
This hand-in-your-face basketball product simulates true game-like situations when training. It develops not only the ability to shoot over defenders, but your focus, confidence, and muscle memory.
It's a little paper hand that you tape to your forehead, and it flaps around in front of your eyes to make you better at basketball. Brilliant. I saw this because of someone quote tweeting it saying Elfrid Payton basically had this for years and it didn't help him. For reference, this was his hairstyle when he played for the Magic. The man was ahead of his time. Even though I already retired from the NBA in 2016, I still like to stay at the top of my game, so I think I'm gonna order one of these and give it a shot and see if it actually makes my jump shot better. Plus, I'm always down to support someone's small business, so let's do it. Now all I gotta do is wait. Mail's here. First things first, I gotta get this belt on. Awesome. It came with a sticker, but they folded it in half, so it's gonna have a big crease down the middle. Grip 6, American made, just like me. Another reminder on this side that it was made in America. We get it, dude. Grip 6 belts are made in the finest American sweatshops. Cool. This right here, that's where the value comes in. They ripped this off of a spaceship just to give it to me. This is one of the first products I bought in a long time that didn't come with instructions. I hope it's simple. I guess I'll find out. Excuse me. Stop looking at my balls. Obviously, I can't go like this, because then it's gonna go over the belt buckle, and we want people to see the belt buckle. I want people to know that I supported an American company. How the fuck do you put this on? Maybe it goes like that, and then... Let me try this again for the third time. For the fourth time.
There's enough things in life that are super complicated, and I like to simplify things down.
You know, this guy made a really big deal about how regular belts are so confusing. People are always struggling. You gotta put the thing through the hole. What if I put it through the wrong one? But this is the dumbest I've ever felt. Failing to put this belt on? Are you kidding me? Does it loop around like that? Is that it? Did I do it? I cannot believe that I am about to Google how to put on a belt. I'm the dumbest person in the world. Okay, there's a video, how to put it on. This has over 200,000 views. So hopefully that means I'm not the only idiot out there.
You've got a buckle and you've got a strap. The strap goes up from the back side of the buckle. You don't want to do it this way. Grip 6 belt actually goes down into the front. You hold on to the strap just like that.
Next stop, Sex Town. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck the belt. I gotta wear this for a bit and make sure it doesn't loosen itself before I can give my thoughts, but it is keeping my pants up. Let me go ahead and do the bag now. Oh, I didn't tell you guys what color I got. Not purple. Orange. Orange, you glad I bought this? I did end up going with the mini one. This was about 140 bucks. First impressions, it's a bag. Wow. Look at this, guys. Okay, it's got a decent amount of space. I like this branding here that says Baboon to the Moon, and then I guess their slogan is Get Lost, which I just feel is kind of mean. I guess I'll count how many pockets there are. 1, 2. You could fit maybe like a water bottle in there. There's some pocket space on the inside here. But that's always deceptive because if you fill this big pocket to the brim, you're not going to be able to squeeze anything else in any of these pockets. So really, I would say this is one big pocket.
One huge pocket.
With a little bit of space up here and then one. This is an extremely standard backpack. It's probably a little thicker than like your normal backpack. They said it's waterproof. That does appear to be true. How's it look?
I failed. Filming today was actually really good timing because my back hurt. And luckily, I have all of these great, wonderful products to choose from that will hopefully not make things worse. I love that new chirp wheel smell. I mean, I do like how everything fits. I am enjoying how organized this looks. Posture corrector, I'll have to try that later. You know, now that I think about it, I don't think I would ever use these big ones. I feel like the little one is all you need. I think I could have bought this and saved like 50 bucks. So how's your day going? Feel like we haven't talked in a while. Everything good, champ? Honestly, I kind of like it. All right, I'm on board. But you know what they say, go big or go home. What if I just like died? This is too much. I guess I'll try medium. So the big one was a little bit too much, but maybe that's because my posture hasn't been corrected yet. Step 1, put arms into straps as if putting on a backpack. I just practiced. To adjust tightness, pull tabs on both sides until snug. Wear 2 to 4 hours. Feels kind of stupid, but you just wait. 3 hours from now, I'm gonna have the posture of a supermodel, but still my body, so. While this thing does its job, I should probably try out the other back product. First, I got the spine deck, which sort of just fell apart. Apparently there are 3 different levels of back stretches with this. Level 3 is greater stretching for advanced users only. You really gotta put in the work with this before you're ready for level 3. This thing isn't super flexible. What the fuck? Okay, there we go. So I'll just lay down on this as instructed. Is it working? It just feels kind of lumpy. I like how it came with this flimsy little rubber piece that you have to insert yourself, I guess to make it nice and comfortable. But then it's got like 100 spikes on it that just dig into your back. It's like laying down on a pile of Legos. I guess I'll try the other way to do it, which is on your chair. My chair already has sort of a curved back, so I don't think this is gonna make much of a difference. This has got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever owned. I feel like you could find something lying around your house that would accomplish the same effect and feel that this thing has. I swear to God, if this undoes the progress I make with my posture corrector, I'm gonna have a conniption. But of course, the real test is gonna be with the spine neck. So a lot of people ask me, does it hurt? Not really. I don't know how much science went into this design. It feels like an arbitrary collection of random shapes. It's just this like rubber boomerang that's got some bumps on it. It's the kind of thing that just ends up in a box in your attic and sits there for 10 years until you have to move, and then you find it and no one knows what it is. Almost forgot about this bad boy. Oh my God, is that the Uproot lint cleaner? No, it's 2 of them. There's a little quote on the bag that says, "It's so good, I can't put it down." That's what you would say about like a snack. Like a bag of chips you can't stop eating. Not a lint roller. It looks dirty. And then this handle's kind of fucked up. It's already got a crack in it. So as far as appearance goes, I'd give this like a D so far, but that doesn't really matter. Let's see if they work. I think this carpet might be too long for this. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I'm seeing it now. See that? Oh, well, just focused on the carpet there. Yeah, there's some dirt there. I see it. This isn't really doing as much as I hoped it would. Maybe it's my carpet, it's kind of long. We have a couple rugs that are short. Let me try one of those. This actually worked pretty well when I moved it to a short rug that we walk on a lot. We vacuum this rug probably twice a month, but even still, there was a lot of cat hair trapped under there. So if you have a pretty short rug like this or a really short carpet, I think this will work well. Ours was probably too long for it to be worth it, but you know what? This thing did a pretty good job. I'm impressed. Man, I don't know about you guys, but all this dust and cat hair has given me quite the appetite. Who's hungry? Me. I've been getting a lot of comments from you guys already on this video guessing that I was gonna use cow's milk to drink this, and I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this is an almond milk family. 0 cows were milked in the making of this beverage. I also don't need these yet. I'm thinking maybe chocolate first. You guys can eat along at home if you'd like. It doesn't have to be this. You could pretty much eat anything. I don't care. It smells like Cocoa Pebbles, which I do like. I like me some Cocoa Pebbles. I think Fruity Pebbles I actually like better. Not that you asked. There she goes. Bottoms up. There's a little bit of an aftertaste I'm not digging. It's weird. The first couple seconds of chewing on it, it tastes really good. It tastes like exactly like any chocolate cereal I've ever had. But then for some reason, the longer you chew on it, it just starts to like meld together into this like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like this isn't a flavor I've ever tasted before. The flavor that's sitting in my mouth right now. I'm not even eating it anymore, but I feel like I painted the inside of my mouth with this weird flavor. Yeah, I think I'm done with the chocolate one. That's not very good. It feels good. Like the texture is exactly what you would expect, but that aftertaste, man, I don't know. It's like really bitter. Next up, peanut butter. The other one didn't taste good, but it felt and smelled good. So far, this one does not smell good. This table makes me feel like a little kid. Like there wasn't any room left at the kids' table, so I had to eat with the grown-ups, but everything is giant compared to my tiny body. I'm not even gonna bother closing that up. I don't even know if it's worth preserving. This shit sucks. It seems like they tried to, in a roundabout way, create a peanut butter flavor, but it tastes nothing like peanut butter. Yeah, I'm not digging this at all. Light died, that was fast. I think I'm done with peanut butter. It smells exactly like cotton candy. Wait, this is my favorite. The Sig Chunk. I don't want to eat this. I'm gonna set that to the side. I guess I'll put it in here. I'm not eating that. The boxes are kind of fun. There's a word search on here. This one had Mad Libs. Sure, this tiny little box costs $10 whole, but there's a free maze on the back. So I'd actually pay another $10 just to do the maze. Can you tell I'm procrastinating? I don't want to eat this. That's definitely the best one so far. It's got a pretty good flavor, I'd say. It really just tastes like stevia, though, like artificial sweetener. Yeah, maybe I did finish it. What, you never been hungry before? Well, I saved what I expected and hoped to be the best for last. Fruity. Another maze. Wait, is this the same maze? Okay, no. It's a different maze. Thank God. Ow. Cheers. This does have the same flavor, sort of, as Fruity Pebbles. Again, there's like a bitter aftertaste. It's so weird. And then the aftertaste made the next bite taste even worse, I feel like. Don't take my review as gospel. I know that people like this. Also, taste is obviously very subjective. I am not super picky. I will eat just about anything. I know that everybody says that. I feel like the problem is not so much the flavor itself, but how much of it there is. Like if there was an adjustable knob, they turned it up just a little bit too high. I noticed it the second I put it in my mouth. That's why I made that face. Some foods, the flavor takes a second or two to kick in, but this was like the moment it got past the opening of my mouth, I tasted it in my whole body. So let's be concise. I know this video is long already. 3 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 3 out of 10. Again, it's about dinner time right now, and I didn't eat. I haven't eaten for several hours. I was saving it for this. I thought that would actually make me a bad reviewer because the hungrier I am, the more I tend to like the way things taste. Just something quirky and different about me. But instead, I hated pretty much all of it. So I don't know if Magic Spoon has reached out to me to do a brand deal or not. This probably disqualified me from doing one, but I don't do ads for things that I don't like, and I don't like this. So that's that. After consuming 4 bowls of the best cereal money can buy, it was time to hit the court. And let me just say, I was in the zone. Even though I didn't technically make any of my shots, I connected with the backboard on a few of them, which I think they should at least give you 1.4, because it's even higher up than the basket. Cut me a break here, refs. But despite my overwhelming success, I couldn't stop thinking about Hand in Your Face. Could it really make me better? I had to try.
What the fuck? Suddenly, I was practicing like never before, which is to say I was actually making shots. I've never done that before. I usually just pat myself on the back for getting close, but this was a whole new feeling. Maybe being able to see what I was doing has been a distraction all along. This whole time, I should have just been letting my elite athleticism and God-given talent take over. My eyes have been holding me back from greatness. And that's when it hit me. I had to take this to the next level.
With the first pick in the 2021 NBA Draft, the Golden State Warriors select
Drew Gooden. They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it, Gooden. Way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot!
He can do everything Jordan could do, but better.
For me, it's Michael Jordan. It's
Drew Gooden.
Anybody got some milk?
The rumors are true. Today, I am announcing my retirement from the NBA after 43 wonderful seasons. Unfortunately, the game just wasn't challenging for me. I've already played for all 30 teams. I won the championship every single year, and I never missed a shot. So there really wasn't anything else for me to accomplish, and I'd like to move on to bigger and newer challenges. Any questions? So now that you've retired, what's your next move gonna be? I'm gonna be a commentary YouTuber. I don't know what that is.
So this is going in S tier. As far as everything else goes, I'm gonna have to take the B out of the belt and then give it back to it. Yeah, it looks silly, and maybe I feel kind of bad about ragging on the guy so hard, but it works. It definitely keeps your pants up. Once you figure out how to get it on, it grips really well, almost too well, actually. There were a couple times when I forgot I was wearing it and I had to pee really bad, but I had to stand there for 20 seconds struggling with it before I could. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Backpack, I'm gonna give that a C. Definitely way too expensive, but it is a bag, so the advertising was accurate. Both of these little shits are going in F. Frankly, you could not design a more useless product. If I saw these at a yard sale, I wouldn't even pay $1 for them. I'm gonna put the lint cleaner in B, because it's pretty cheap and it worked well. But don't be too fooled by their Instagram videos. If you even vacuum semi-regularly, you're not gonna have your mind blown by pulling up a toupee of human hair. It's just gonna be a little bit. The back wheels, I feel like I could go B or C. I'm gonna lean towards C just because they're so expensive. They really aren't that much better than a foam roller, and you can get one of those for 10 to 20 bucks. The case is very nice, and the posture corrector is a funny gag gift, but that's pretty much all I can say about it. Finally, Magic Spoon for me is a D. It just doesn't taste that good, and it's way overpriced. Now, if you are on a specific diet, particularly keto, and you're craving a sweet snack, I think you'll probably like this. The problem is they try to market it so broadly. Instead of saying it's a great keto snack, it's great for this specific diet, they say it's the new cereal for grown-ups. And guess what? I'm a grown-up, and I think it sucks. Sorry, you're probably tired of hearing me talk about brands. Luckily, I've got just the thing for you. All right, we both need a haircut. Remember books? Yeah, me neither. But I was doing some research, and apparently it's this thing where you buy it because it makes you feel smart to own one, but then you never make time to read it because video games is more fun. And that's books. One thing I've noticed over the past decade is how aware of YouTuber books I've been, despite not really being engaged with YouTube until about 3 or 4 years ago. Because of the size of their audience, when people like Shane Dawson or Tyler Oakley or Dan and Phil release a book, I'd always end up seeing it displayed like front and center at a Barnes & Noble. At some point, I think it just became the thing to do when you hit like 3 million subscribers. Gotta write a book now, I guess. Maybe it's because of how enticing it is to be able to add New York Times bestseller to your Twitter bio, or like many other things, maybe it's just because your manager told you could make a lot of money if you wrote a book, so you wrote a book. I think that's one thing a lot of people may not realize about YouTubers is how many business decisions they've made that have been influenced by the management team that has inevitably come and swooped them up to tell them to diversify. I mean, that YouTube channel is doing pretty well for now, but would it really hurt if you started a podcast and wrote a book and started doing live shows and Twitch streaming and posted 100 times a week instead of just one? I would love
love to make more money. I mean, I would love for you to make more money. If you're wondering why it seemed like so many YouTubers were going on tour at the same time, look no further than MCNs, or multi-channel networks. Because there are only a handful of popular MCNs that have so many creators under their umbrella, they're pretty much all getting the same advice at the same time.
We here at Giant Company see you as not just one of our 900,000 creators, but as an individual with a unique story to tell. And that's why we've hand-selected you, and only you, as the perfect partner for this brand new project. You write a book, and we make most of the money. How's that sound, Champ?
Okay, yeah, okay. Now, I want to make it clear, I'm not making this video to shit on every single YouTuber book that's ever been written. I'm not saying that just because a book is written by a YouTuber, that means it's bad, or just because a YouTuber does a live show, that means it's not very well put together. That's not true. What is true is that these things tend to separate, like, the truly talented creators who just happen to be on YouTube from the people who are clearly just doing it because it seemed like the right entrepreneurial thing to do. Those kind of books read much differently, with it being very obvious that much of what you're reading is just there to fill space, words devoid of purpose that couldn't be edited out because then the book wouldn't be long enough. For example, in Jake Paul's You Gotta Want It, he starts with a short About Me section with some descriptive things like how old he is, what he does. It looks like he's on Disney Channel, so I hope that goes well for him. And that's fine, because that's all information. This is an About Me section, and these are things that describe him. But then he runs out of information and just starts listing pointless shit. I'm wearing sweatpants. There's a place around the corner from where I live that has killer smoothies. My favorite is peanut butter and jelly. I got one a few minutes ago. So right away, it's very clear we're just reading this guy's stream of consciousness. He was sitting there typing, he reached for his smoothie to have a sip, and then he was like, oh, I should type about the smoothie because what even is this book? I'm not so sure he even knew what this book was going to be or why he was writing it until he was done writing it. He ends the About Me section with, my brother Logan is telling me that this book should be all about girls, but I say no, this book is all about... Wait, that's a good question. What is this book about? And to me, at least, that just seems like something that maybe he should have tried to figure out before he got to this point. You know a book is going to be good when the author openly admits to making it up as he goes. What's that famous line from the beginning of Sorcerer's Stone? Harry Potter, the boy who did something of significance. I haven't figured out what yet, but I'll let you know when I do. From what I can tell, this book is all about motivation and positivity and shirtless Jake Paul. It's about encouraging you to chase your dreams and face your fears, written by a teenager whose advice is terrible. Move with deliberate fearlessness, ignore the naysayers, take the word no and flip it around. What? Will I ever be successful? On be success, Dad. Then he tells a story about how one time he and Logan were driving to Las Vegas and he turned to him and said, let's see how fast this thing can go, proceeding to drive 170 miles per hour. That's too fast. That is reckless driving. You could go to jail for a year for driving that fast, but maybe that's the point, right? Maybe the lesson's like, there's no shortcuts in life, work smarter, not harder, don't drive as fast as I did. Nope, the opposite, in fact. I'm gonna gun it like this the whole way, which is my approach to everything. It should be yours too. You hear that, guys? You should always drive 170 miles per hour towards your dreams. That is criminally bad advice. Nobody should be listening to this maniac. That being said, I'm gonna keep reading. I listen to a lot of rap. I relate to it. I know rappers exaggerate to make their songs sound more street, but when I decipher the lyrics, they're mostly about stuff that's happened or is happening to those guys as they fight their way to the top. Nothing's gonna stop them, they say, and I know exactly what they mean. This is the funniest thing I've ever read in my life. At one point, he describes his own birth, which is a funny sentence on its own, but he says he was born 3 weeks early. I couldn't wait, which is typical of me. And that's just so funny to, like, brag about being born way too early. My mom was only pregnant with me for a week and a half before I came out. Yeah, my arms and legs don't work, and I'm only 4 inches tall, but I just couldn't wait to get out in the world and start my YouTube channel. But getting to the meat of the book, there's a very weird chapter where Jake talks about his first crush, Megan Fox from Transformers. I was 10 years old, and I thought the movie was the best thing I'd ever seen. I also thought Megan Fox was the hottest girl in this universe. At that age, I knew the word sexy, but not its meaning. I can't say that I walked out of the theater thinking Megan was sexy, but I did walk out of the theater thinking about Megan, which was something, considering I thought the cars and trucks in the movie were also super hot. And I spent a lot of time thinking about them, too. What the fuck did I just read? When I was 10, I thought Megan was sexy, but I didn't know she was sexy because I didn't know about sex yet, but she was my girlfriend, and the cars were my girlfriend, and I'll always love them both. So in case it wasn't obvious yet, this is where the book starts to get odd. Suddenly, Jake is no longer telling us how to achieve our dreams and follow our goals. Instead, he's really honed in on the female teenage audience, teaching them all about boys. This chapter, called Hello Ladies, is his experience with puberty, something that for some reason he's telling us about. At one point, he unintentionally encourages all the young kids reading to Google what sex is, which in hindsight, probably not the best advice. This was all my pubescent pals and I did for a brief moment in our young lives, and what an education we got. Through photos and videos, we figured out the basics on our own, and then some, and we were good to go. No talk necessary. But you don't just walk onto a basketball court and dunk like LeBron James. First, you have to learn how to dribble. He spends a lot of time recounting his first sexual experiences, describing the girls he liked and made out with in way too much detail. I hope these aren't their real names because holy shit, dude. This whole time I was also texting Julie and her boobs. I was into making out, but I'd heard that others were doing more than kissing, including Julie. I didn't know what she'd done, but thanks to Google, I'd figured out the facts of life and then some. Julie and I went into my room together and made out. Then, after a while, her hands went places, and so did mine. And suddenly, we were past making out, in brand new territory. At least for me, I was like, oh my god, this is the best moment ever. The cool thing is, that moment is still pretty great all these years later. Am I reading porn? Don't worry, there's still so much book left. 10 facts about teenage guys that every teenage girl should know. Number 1, while girls are occupied with their hairstyles, clothes, and shoes, and maybe cool rings and necklaces, he knows so much about girls, most guys in the 8th grade are thinking about what girls look like after all that's removed and they are in their underwear or bathing suits. By 9th grade, guys are obsessing about what girls look like without their clothes on. Is this meant to help the teenage girls? Hey ladies, you may not realize it yet, but guys, they want to see your ass. So show it to them, I guess? I guess I just didn't realize how sexually charged this book for children would be. I thought this was gonna be like Edfluence the book, but some parts are more like 50 Shades of Paul. I realize I just made a 50 Shades of Grey reference in the year 2020, but I just don't know any other popular porn book. Anyway, there's a lot of boring shit in here that's not really worth talking about. I like how in the middle there's just a bunch of random pages of pictures that have nothing to do with the book, with captions ranging from someone's a little fishy to shirts are overrated. But other than that, this book is extremely boring and pointless, and at the very end he mentions the same smoothie that he talked about at the beginning, which confirms my suspicion that he did write this all in one sitting. If I were to pick one quote from the book, a little pearl of wisdom to leave you guys with, it would be, some days your underwear sticks in your butt crack. Pick it out, laugh it off, and get going again. My official score for Jake Paul's You Gotta Want It is a D-, as in I wish he had minused some of the references to his D. In addition to this masterpiece, Lele Pons, who in a lot of ways is the female version of Jake Paul, also wrote her own advice book about getting through high school. And I'm not gonna go into detail about this one because I think Nerd City already said everything there was to say about this book, but to sum it up, her advice is basically that things get easier the more famous you get. And that's super helpful advice for the 99.9% of struggling teenagers who will never be nearly as famous as she is. Don't worry guys, it gets better. Just become rich. From what I can tell, there's pretty much only 3 different types of YouTuber books. There's the autobiography, where you cover your life story in excruciating detail and act like you've really had to beat the odds and overcome all these obstacles in your life, which just means your parents got divorced and that was the worst thing that ever happened to you. Number 2, there's the tongue-in-cheek advice book, How to Adult, Adulting 101 for adults. But don't take it from me, guys. I'm just a 30-year-old, 15-year-old. And then third, there's the rare fictional YA novel. Joey Graceffa wrote 2 of these, and they seem to have pretty mixed reviews. I don't know a lot about Joey or what he does, but I at least can respect the originality here. I think it's cool he had an idea
and tried to execute it. Whether or not he actually achieved it, that's up for debate, but it was ambitious, so I'll give him that. There is one book that doesn't fit into any of these categories, and that's Gabby Hanna's much maligned collection of poetry, Adultolescence. Now, Gabby is someone who always seems to end up involved in some kind of drama, and personally, I have paid attention to none of it. Except for her Genius interview, because that was just funny.
Maybe I'm the monster.
But other than that, I'm not going to try and tell you what she has done or hasn't done that's bad, because I genuinely don't know. It's weird. Sometimes with YouTube drama, I'm like, oh, this is juicy, do tell. And then other times I'm like, how did I end up on a channel called Farting the Tea, where all of their videos are just scrolls of text set to Wii menu music? Do I really care that much to watch this? No, I don't. So again, I'm not saying she's guilty of anything, and I'm not saying she's innocent of anything. I'm only going to look at this book as what it is. First thing I'll say is it's really easy to criticize the worst of this book. Plenty of people have already done that. At its worst, the poems are very not good, and she didn't do herself any favors by openly admitting in the book that much of them only exist because she had a deadline and needed to fill space. Which, if I'm being honest, was kind of a relief to read because it's right at the end of the book and it sort of answers a question you might have already had. But as a result, many of the poems end up reading like tweets that should have stayed drafts but instead got reformatted to fill pages in between actual poems. I'm sure even Gabby herself would admit that a lot of these entries shouldn't even be considered poetry. Sad-isfied. It's the whole page. You get it? Because she's sad. Is fine. So she's like happy and sad. I think there's a lot of depth to that one. This one's called K, and then the whole poem is actually just her sending someone a text that says K, and the other person read it. So that's very interesting to me. And of course, got to talk about this one. Link, that's just the title of the poem, and then the poem is in bio. So you read it all together and it's link in bio. That one's kind of a thinker. You really gotta ponder on that one for a while, but once it clicks in your brain, it's very cool. Ew, you're disgustingly perfect. I like that one, it has a twist. And then right under it, Catholic. I gave up for Lent. Right, I gave up. It's funny. I've never heard that joke before. That's why it's so good. So yeah, a lot of this is either just blatant page filler or very short poems that have the depth of an above ground pool that hasn't been filled yet. If the world ended tomorrow, what would you do today? I'd hurriedly make my way to an all-you-can-eat buffet. If the world was ending tomorrow, I'd eat some food. And the poetry award goes to... Like, I didn't think I was, like, gonna like it the way that I like it, but, like, I like it. I take it back. This is a great book. The most egregious examples of page fillers are these, like, advice poems that are supposed to read like text. There's no punctuation and things are misspelled intentionally because that was the stylistic choice. But they're also meaningless and dumb that I'm almost certain they were the very last thing to be added to the book. Hey, Gabby, book's looking great. We just need 10 more pages? Yeah, that's no problem. How much time do I have? Oh, you're fine. I just need them in 1 minute. What? People change. I used to hate coconut. When I was over McDonald's, when I was a kid, when I was a kid, I don't believe everything you read. I don't love things, so don't make problems with our own devils. Even imagine, don't believe everything you read. Unless you read that I'm cool, you can believe that. All right, well, they're not great, but here you go. That does not matter to me. Okay, thanks. Well, I'm glad you're satisfied, because I'm just sad. Isfied. Sad-isfied. Wait, I thought of another one! To be fair, though, there are plenty of good poems in here. Like I said, it's really easy to cherry pick the dozen or so terrible ones, but for the most part, it's not a terrible book. Had she been able to spend more time on this, letting inspiration come to her naturally, instead of rushing out a bunch of shower thoughts, I think this would have been a really good first try at her version of a Shel Silverstein book. I know she's talented. That's why even though I saw all these videos about the book, I wanted to read it for myself. I wanted to see if it was really as bad as people said, and a lot of it is not that bad. I was surprised how much I liked a lot of the drawings. I mean, obviously putting a drawing next to a poem doesn't make the poem better, but it is at least more interesting to look at as you're scrolling through the book. Ultimately, I think Gabby could have avoided almost all of the backlash she got from this if she had either taken a few more months to actually finish it, or
or if she had just charged less for the book. It would have made the expectations people had going into it more reasonable. I mean, I got this used on Amazon for a couple of bucks, but if I were to have bought this when it came out from stores, it would have cost me $16.99. That is the perceived value of this book according to the publisher who published it. A paperback copy of an unfinished poetry collection, $17. By comparison, here is a hardcover copy of Rhett and Link's Book of Mythicality. This book is fantastic. It's funny, it's personal, the artwork is beautiful, every single page has an intricate, unique design. I believe over a dozen people worked on it. It was a massive project that got all of the time and attention it needed. And since this is a hardcover book, the pages are really thick, it cost more to produce, so that would be factored into the price as well. So if this is $17, then this should be like 40 bucks, right? No, $21. This more durable, sturdy copy of a more thoroughly crafted book is only $4 more than this. So if you're gonna charge a premium price for your book, you're gonna have to live up to those expectations. And I'm sure it wasn't up to her what the price was. I've never worked with a publisher, I've never published a book, but I know a lot of control is taken away from the author, and this is probably what the publisher has decided. But it is still her fault for putting herself in that position, agreeing to a deadline that she probably should have known was unreachable. Don't get me wrong, as a fellow creator, I totally understand how deadlines can mess you up and get in the way of making something as good as you think it could be. Have you ever noticed that I almost always post videos on the very last day of the month? That's because I sign contracts with the brands that sponsor me, and I physically can't procrastinate any longer than I already have. But the thing is, that's on me. If I have to put out an unfinished video because I didn't have enough time to work on it, it's still my fault for agreeing to the contract that set that deadline. I don't get to play the victim in that situation, and I don't think Gabby does either, because she still profited heavily off of this. She defends a lot of these unfinished poems by saying how cathartic they were for her to write, and that's great. I'm glad that this was therapeutic for you to write this book, but you still charged people money for it. Like, it's great that you got something out of writing it, but you need to make sure that if people are paying money, that they're getting the same amount of quality in return. But those are my thoughts on this book. I'm not trying to start drama with Gabby. I think she's very talented. I'm sure she learned her lesson from this. And we'll see how her next book turns out. I think my main takeaway from this video is that the most well-received YouTuber books are the ones that act as an extension of the channel. So for someone whose channel is dedicated to coming up with fun recipes, releasing a cookbook full of them isn't some out-of-left-field obvious cash grab. A book about sex makes a lot more sense when it's coming from a YouTuber who already makes videos about sex. The same cannot be said about the Disney Channel vlogger who devoted an entire chapter of his memoir to that time someone touched his ding dong. One book I really respect is by Charlie McDonnell, who's a super OG YouTuber. He used to go by Charlie is So Cool Like. He wrote an entire book about fun science facts that he enjoys. I think it's cool that he took that opportunity to just make something he's passionate about. It doesn't seem like a lazy afterthought, like, oh, I gotta write a book, I guess I'll talk about what middle school was like for me? Would people like that? He chose an extremely specific topic and went all in on it because that's what he wanted to do. And that's cool. Trying to get teenagers to be interested in science is a lot more noble than trying to teach them how to be good at Instagram. One thing I will say about every single YouTuber book is at least they did it. I can sit here and criticize every single page of a book, but at the end of the day, they still wrote more of a book than I ever have. I don't think I'll ever have the patience or self-discipline to finish that big of a project. So kudos to anyone who's ever finished a book. I'm curious to hear in the comments if you guys have read any other YouTuber books that were better than you thought they'd be, or worse than you thought they'd be, or you never actually finished reading it because you only bought it to support the creator, but then you kept getting distracted. I would understand. I do that too.
Hey guy, I know you probably want to, but you don't actually need to tell me that I have two distinctly different hair colors fighting to the death on top of my head. I am aware of that. I am also aware of the fact that they are both losing. So a little over a year ago, I got an ad for something called The Cove, an almost $500 sleep headset that was touted to me as a hug for your mind. Not that there's literally any other information in this ad. It's just kind of floating there, and I guess you're supposed to be like, well, it emits vibrations, so it's got to do something, right? As expected, the website focused more on buzzwords than anything else. Enjoy life more by stressing less. Cove makes peace of mind effortless. Cove plus TV equals evening serenity. I feel like it's such a cop-out to be like, this thing will make your brain calmer. Just, make sure to wear it while doing something you enjoy. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. Like, I wonder what's making me happier right now. Is it the show that I like, or the piece of plastic I put on my head? The most notable scientific citation they have is something called interoception, the sixth sense that we've conveniently never heard of. Because how can I say that they're wrong if I don't even know what that is? Anyway, at a price point of $490, I didn't end up buying it at the time because it was so expensive and supposedly life-changing. I figured I would save it for its own video one day. But before long, I noticed that the Amazon link I had bookmarked changed it to say currently unavailable. So I thought maybe they're coming out with a newer version. I guess I'll just wait and see. Cut to about a month ago, I checked their website again, and the Cove has been discontinued. No! Where am I gonna get my interoception from now? Here is their explanation. In an effort to scale Cove's proprietary technology to reach as many people as possible, we have made the strategic decision to discontinue the Cove product line as it exists today and will no longer be selling directly to consumers. Huh? In an effort to get the Cove to as many people as possible, we will no longer be making or selling them. What the fuck does that mean? Okay, so maybe they explained it more somewhere else? No posts in over 10 weeks, and you can't comment on their Instagram, and you can't comment on their Facebook, and you can't reply to any of their tweets. Now, I can't say for certain that they're trying to hide something, but I can say that if you were trying to hide something, this is how you would do it. I tried to look more into it, and all I could find is just like article after article over the past couple of years of people either saying, it kinda helped me, I think, or that it was a huge waste of money. And then all of a sudden, it's just gone? So I don't know what happened for sure. The wording of their statement almost makes it sound like they sold their technology to another company. Maybe because they didn't actually believe in it that much in the first place, so as soon as I got an offer to cash out and disappear, they jumped on the opportunity. But either way, this abrupt departure and nebulous goodbye message is not really a great look for them after spending 2 years promising to change people's lives. Well, it seems we've killed the man, but not the idea. There are now seemingly dozens of copycat headsets and watches and vibrating eggs you put on your chest. A whole slew of little devices that each cost hundreds of dollars, all with the same promise of fixing your broken brain, usually backed up by vague in-house research. I mean, we think it works pretty good. And can you guess what all of these things have in common? That's right, I've gotten ads for every single one of them on Instagram. If I had to guess why, it's because about a month ago, I had the worst panic attack of my life, which honestly is saying something because in the past I've talked about having to go to the ER from panic attacks. But this one was terrifying. For a little over 2 hours, I thought I was going to throw up, pass out, suffocate, die, any or all of those things. And as panic attacks do, it eventually went away, and I'm doing a lot better now. I mean, the next day I was feeling great. It was just, that's how anxiety is. It comes up out of nowhere sometimes, and it feels like debilitating, like there's nothing you can do to stop it or that it will never go away. So even though I'm in a much better mental state now, words still got out that, sometimes my brain forgets we're supposed to be on the same team, and Instagram has been having a field day with this. Mind Bloom, Brain Luxury Inc., Call Me Go, Mendy, Leaf, Apollo Neuro, Sensate, The Neo Rhythm by Omnipimp, a sleep insert that's implanted into your body? You think I'm gonna buy a surgery from Instagram? Right away with these ads, there was a pretty big red flag for me when this guy popped up. If you've watched some of my other videos, you may recognize him from a very different Instagram ad for the work oney.
There's even a flap on the back, just in case.
So it's like, okay, maybe this is not a connoisseur of internet gadgets. This is a paid actor. And that doesn't mean that this product can't work, but it does sort of break the illusion that this is just a candid testimonial.
Working several jobs, I tend to have high stress and anxiety buildup. I decided to try this product right here to help with that. This product is clinically proven to decrease stress and anxiety in 8 weeks or less.
8 weeks is a long time to have something taped to my chest, not even knowing if it's gonna work or not. Also, a lot can change in the span of 8 weeks. Like, there's so many factors that go into mental health that it's almost hard to like even point to this as the sole reason why your stress or anxiety would go down.
The Leaf is a wearable device that utilizes vibration feedback to assist in regulated breathing and increase your heart rate variability.
But all right, product number 1 uses vibration feedback. Product number 2 is the Mindy.
I had been using it probably about 3 times a week for a couple of months, and then went to a conference with my husband. I was sitting there listening and thought, okay, pay attention and focus. And as I did that, I realized I was focusing.
All right, that's very anecdotal.
The Mindy is working.
At least the other one, they said vibration feedback. This one, she's just like, I put it on my head 3 times and then I was able to listen better at a conference. The headset is used to measure your brain activity. It automatically connects to Mindy's app. Okay, but what does it do? Follow your progress and get lifestyle recommendations that help you boost your training and brain health further. Okay, but what does it do? Controlling mood, increasing focus, improving sleep. But how? How does it do those things? The training game shows what's happening in your brain. Simply focus to make the ball rise. Okay, so it doesn't like do anything to my brain, but it can measure my brain's activity. I can sort of train myself to focus by rewarding my brain when it does a good job, I guess. Up next, we have another headset. It's called the NeoRhythm.
I swear by my NeoRhythm.
Notice big differences. I'm able to fall asleep faster.
Okay, so it helps you sleep.
Able to get a lot more work done.
Okay, so it helps you stay awake.
This little miracle of a device has kept me up for the past 8 hours.
Okay, so it keeps you from sleeping.
I was really skeptical, like, it looks like a Halloween costume, let's be real. But I have to say, I think it's actually working.
All right, well, I mean, if she thinks it's working, then I gotta spend $300 on it. NeoRhythm is a pulsed electromagnetic field therapy device that emits corresponding dominant and accompanying frequencies to which the brain synchronizes, creating a perfect mental environment for the desired state of mind. The fuck? I guess I'm just skeptical on how the same device could help you do 2 opposite tasks. How does it know whether I'm trying to sleep or stay awake? Well, let's see the reviews. I like the idea, I just have not felt any benefits or difference from using the device. Seems to be a scam. The product does not have an efficacy beyond that of a placebo. It's hard to know if you're improving as there is no feedback. My experience so far has been no different than if I'd purchased a really expensive piece of plastic with an LED light on it. I've tried almost daily for several months as a sleep aid, but can't say I've noticed any difference. Damn. But still, way more people seem to swear by it than the amount of people that think it sucks. Maybe they're just doing it wrong. Maybe they're just stupid. So those are things you put on your head. You've also got the Apollo that you put on your wrist.
Why I can't go a day without this wearable. It improved the quality of my sleep. I've never slept better than when I started using the Apollo wearable.
Okay, so it helps you sleep.
It helps me focus when I'm working. My productivity has almost doubled since buying the Apollo wearable.
Okay, so it helps keep you awake.
It's kind of like a wearable hug for your nervous system.
I mean, that sounds good, but like, what does that mean? Like, I don't want to hear a metaphor of what it's like. I just want to know what it does. So this one is the one I've heard the most about. I've heard it mentioned on podcasts before. It's also the most expensive out of all these products, although they're all about the same price. So we'll see. Product number 5, we've got the Sensate, which is described as a pebble that emits infrasonic vibrations to tone the vagus nerve and improve overall well-being. From what I can tell, you put it on your chest while meditating, and then it like makes you calmer over time. Now, if this is a product you have to use while meditating, it's hard to really know if it's actually doing anything, right? Because meditation in itself is something you can do to calm yourself down. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. So if you meditate with this egg on your chest and then you feel better, was it the egg or was it the meditation? Who's to say, you know? Guess there's no way to prove it. And then the last product is called the Calmigo. It's pretty different from all the others, but kind of has the same goal.
Everything's better now.
How do you look so calm? I use Calmigo. It's a little device that helps calm you down when you're anxious.
Okay, so it's like an inhaler that you breathe into and you're having a panic attack, and I guess it smells good. The thing is, though, like, my first impression of this is that out of all of these products, this would be the most helpful because it doesn't rely on doing some invisible thing like emitting magnetic rays into your brain. I can't see that, so I don't know if it's actually doing that. Whenever I'm anxious, the first thing I'll try to do is like pay attention to my breathing. I'll breathe in slowly and breathe out. And if that's what this thing is helping you do, then like, even though it's overpriced and you can breathe for free, at least it's like doing a physical thing to help you. So you probably noticed I'm a little skeptical of almost all of these products. I want to believe that the science is all true and it's all legitimate. I want to believe that these companies truly just set out to help people on their journey. But let's be real about it. As more and more people talk about mental health struggles, there are other people who look at that as a new market to target. It is an ever-growing demographic of people who are probably seen as easily exploitable. So that's why I'm a little hesitant to just be like, oh boy, all this stuff is gonna fix my brain. Because you wanna know how much money I spent on 6 devices? $1,462.96. $1,462.
Hi, welcome to the unboxing couch. This is where I will take things out of a box and put them on my head. Now, any mathematicians watching may have noticed that I bought 6 products and yet I only have 4 boxes. What's up with that? Looks like DHL had an issue delivering the Neorhythm and it's currently stuck in Slovenia. And the Sensate egg ball is on back order. You'd think maybe they could have told me that before I paid for it, but then, you know, I might not have bought it and then they wouldn't get any money. So why would we tell you that? Usually I would try to be a little bit more understanding about this. I know that there's supply chain issues. I know that things get delayed all the time. But I do feel like if you're gonna market yourself as like the we made this product because we care about people company, then, you know, maybe you should have slightly higher standards. At the very least, once you're aware of the fact that you don't have any of a product left, maybe stop taking orders. Even though I have no idea when my Sensate will show up, I can still go on the website and buy another one. Why is that? You see what I'm saying? It doesn't really seem like you care that much about people's mental health when you're willing to just hoard their money for an indefinite amount of time. So I don't think I'm gonna get this one in time to include it in the video, which is unfortunate because I think it might help alleviate some of the stress that it is causing me. But honestly, I don't know if I had super high hopes anyway for a product whose worst reviews are all like, it's broken, it broke, and the best reviews are like, it was great until it broke. Hey, it can't stop working if you never get it in the first place. Mindy was one that you put on your head, right? I'll start with that. What is the point of this? It's in a box, wrapped in bubble wrap, inside another box. And then for extra protection, they put in 1 sheet of paper. This is how it arrived in one piece. Oh, it's beautiful. Finally, I can pay attention at the conference. Welcome to Mindy. Inside this box, you have one of the very first Mindy devices to ever see the light of day. Guess they haven't sold that many. Important product and legal information. This product is illegal to use. Good to know. Now here's the goods right here. Hell. I don't think I'm supposed to put it on my head yet, but obviously I'm gonna put it on my head. So this one has no information on it. I just have to download an app. Ooh, the app has a 3.6, not great. And from all I know about this, like the whole thing is the app. So if the app sucks, then the product is useless. So that's not a great sign. Mindy doesn't have enough variety. It is currently only the ball game and 1 music piece. For something you are encouraged to do at least 3 times a week, 5 minutes a session, I wish there was more. For the price, I feel like this hurts the experience and desire to use it. That's a good point. Welcome to Mindy. Let your brain health journey begin. Great news. There's an update available. Is that great news? It's a headset right above your eyebrows. Tighten as much as possible. Fuck. It's already pretty tight. It's not super comfortable, but I'm here for results, all right, not comfort. No pain, no gain, even with your brain. Avoid bright light. Oh, not sure that's really an option. All right, the movement of the ball represents your brain activity. Ball rises a few seconds after you increase your brain activity. Win stars by sustaining your brain activity. I want to win some stars. Do they work on the Jeremy Renner app? I don't know how to make myself focus more. Whoa, I did it. Oh, I suck now. Don't get me wrong, I love that I'm getting stars, but I don't know what I'm doing
to earn them. I'm just gonna shut up and focus. It worked. Oh no, oh no. I'm plummeting right now. 58? I failed? I guess the thing is, like, I don't know how to be good at it. Like, I understand that if it goes up, I'm doing well, and if it goes down, I'm sucking ass, but I don't know what I'm doing to cause either of those things. The only thing I do know is that it's on so tight I can feel my pulse in my forehead, and I don't love that. Okay, at least though, it gave me a metric, it gave me a starting point. I can do this every day for a couple weeks and see if I get better at it. Set a weekly goal. 7 days. I'm doing it every day this week. Add the weekly goal to my home screen? Aw, no. So you're supposed to do this like every day when you first wake up and then go straight to work and have like a giant like bruise on your forehead. So I've got something for my head. Now I need something for my wrist. I gotta stop trying to figure out how stuff works before just reading the instructions. We recommend having the Apollo wearable gently vibrating on your body for at least 3 hours a day. I have 2 watches? I look like such a dork. I look like I'm under house arrest. No, officer, it's not like that. I just have anxiety. Apollo's modes deliver a novel touch therapy that signals safety to your brain through your sense of touch, restoring balance to the nervous system and helping you bounce back faster. Does this have an app too? 3.5? That's even worse. You know the worst thing about making these videos is, every time I sign up for something, every time I buy something, I start getting spam emails from them. I'm gonna get so many emails. I don't want any emails. Ever. Okay, I can feel it vibrating when I touch it, but I don't feel it vibrating on my wrist. I guess I kind of feel it. It's like really light. Adjust intensity until vibrations are noticeable but not distracting. It's a little distracting, I'll say. Do I want energy and wake up, social and open, clear and focused? Let's do clear and focus, all right? So it's just gonna vibrate on my wrist, but like really gently. Hi, me from the future. All my hair fell off. Don't ask any questions. So I wanted to look a little bit more into some of the research that these companies are citing. Like for the Apollo, they've got a pretty small study here, only 38 participants, but they're touting a 25% increase in focus. Interesting. I didn't think that's something you could measure with a number, but you know what they say.
Science is whatever we want it to be.
All right, let's check out the abstract. And it is behind a paywall. It's gonna cost me $31 to actually see the study that they are bragging about. Awesome. Here's some more preliminary studies. These seem to be promising results. Now let's go to the study itself where you can see that the results have not been published. So where are they getting these numbers from, huh? It's not over yet. Now, to be fair, these numbers are positive, I'll give them that. At the very least, it doesn't seem to be making things worse for people. But wait a minute, what the hell is an Aura Ring? Another $400 device? Do I have to have both in order for this thing to work? I'm running out of money. Speaking of which, how the fuck does this wristband cost $400? All it does is kind of vibrate. And I guess it has Bluetooth in it too, so it can connect to your phone. You know what else has Bluetooth and the ability to vibrate? A $35 Xbox controller. There's no way it costs even $100 to make one of these things. It's not like it's an all-in-one device either. It doesn't track any of the data that it is supposed to be having an effect on. You need to buy another device to go with it in order to be able to tell if it is working. Now, I'm not saying these companies shouldn't be able to profit. There's a lot of work that goes into production and marketing and coordinating these studies that get hidden behind a paywall. But at a certain point, it's like, what are we doing here? Do you even want this thing to be accessible to the people you're trying to help? I don't want to just dismiss this device altogether because I know that there are promising studies about it. There are a lot of positive testimonials from people. I just think this company could find a way to still be very profitable without pricing it like it's some miracle device filled with state-of-the-art technology. It's a piece of plastic with a Velcro strap on it. All right, well, I got to do this for 30 minutes, so let's keep opening boxes. Call me go. What does the 3 minutes at the top mean? It only takes 3 minutes to do what? To use it? It only takes 3 minutes to set it up? I'm so excited for how calm I'm gonna be. I got my wrist shaking up a storm. I got this inhaler that smells like lavender. And it only takes 3 minutes.
Oh, hell yeah. It came with a little screwdriver.
And free batteries. I didn't know it was my lucky day. There's a phone number for a free one-on-one training session. All right. not a great sign.
Can't be that hard. I'll figure it out myself.
Oh, high as shit. I don't know what I'm doing. When I blow into it, I can feel a little ball inside, and it goes up to the top, and then the light turns blue, and then when I stop breathing, the light turns off, indicating that I'm not breathing, and the ball falls back down because I'm not blowing into it anymore. But what does it actually do? Well, guess that's going off for now. Last but most certainly not least, Leaf Therapeutic with a hole in the back, just in case. Aw, how nice of them. They already gave me a return envelope. They know I'm gonna return it. This was the cheapest product technically, because I think it was only like $99, but that's $99 a month. If I really love this product and I really felt like it was helping me and I wanted to use it for an entire year, that's $1,200. But we just want to help people. We want to make it easier for people to give us money so we can buy stuff. Oh no. Oh no, there's a lot of 1-star reviews from years ago. Wow, these are from 3 years ago. Super disappointed in this company. There are no instructions and the data is so hard to see and or understand. When I tried to get help, the company tried to sell me coaching. I needed customer service to explain the product. Super disappointed in this company. I think I'm gonna hold off on this until tomorrow, actually, because I've got to be somewhere in 20 minutes and I don't want to have, wires dangling from my chest. But thanks to my new upside down watch, I'm going to be really calm and focused when I get there because my wrist is gently shaking. That's how brains work. Oh, my forehead's so cold. Good thing my other headset just arrived. Oh God, there's so many things. Charge, download the app, sign up, log in, tap once, activate Bluetooth, first use, select and tap, 2 taps to change, 2 taps to repeat. And it's as easy as that. Oh, this is great. I guess I gotta charge it first then. While that's charging, I'm gonna do my Mindy for the day. It's really important that I begin every clip in this video with a giant red mark on my forehead. I think this time I am gonna watch the video. I was too cocky.
Optimize your experience by wearing headphones that cancel out any outside noise. When you start your training, concentrate on the pressure of the Mendy headband on your forehead. Focus on this sensation and hone in on the movement of the ball. Focus your gaze on the movement of the ball, but don't place too much emphasis on its upward movement.
Okay, but here's what I don't understand. I've used this a couple times. If I just focus on the ball, I'm not in a flow state. I'm waiting for the ball to do something, but then I'm the one in control of the ball, but I don't know how to control the ball. That makes me reactive. How is that any different than me just like scrolling through Twitter, like waiting to be stimulated by something? If I'm waiting to be stimulated by the ball, I'm not doing anything,
Making Mendy a habit and including it into your wellness routine will have a positive impact on your progress.
Like you said, I'm gonna put noise canceling headphones on so I'm not distracted. And this should be my best one yet because I'm following all the rules. Hi, me again. Now, I developed a suspicion early on that no matter what I did, the Mindy app was going to tell me that I kept doing better every single day because obviously it wants me to think that it is working. So after a couple days, I decided to see what would happen if I intentionally sabotaged my training. On day 4, I just laid down until I dozed off, and boy was I focused. I mean, look at all those stars. I'm killing it right now. On day 5, I spent the entire session just watching a YouTube video. On day 6, I played RimWorld the whole time. On day 7, I didn't even look at my phone once. I just spent my whole session eating a wrap that I made purposely too big. My best score so far. On day 8, I rode my exercise bike while playing a guitar solo to the Mindy song. And even though I forgot to plug in my actual microphone for this shot, I still knocked that ball game out of the park. I think I cracked the code. Just as I suspected, my score went up incrementally every single day. 58 to 64 to 68 to 71 to 79 to 86. Despite the fact that I wasn't even trying to do any of what the app told me to do, my brain was getting better and better every day the more I used the Mindy. And sure, there's a chance that maybe I really was just more focused every time. Shit, maybe all these these products in conjunction with each other are working as intended, and my brain has doubled in size. But it's hard not to think that maybe the app is just doing exactly what it's designed to, which is to make you think that you're getting smarter every day and that this was a good investment. Call me a cynic, but I'm not buying it. And if you still don't believe me, on day 9, I strapped the Mindy to a container of oatmeal, and you know what happened? Nothing. Actually, it knew that I was trying to deceive it. So I do have to give this thing a little bit of credit for at least being able to tell the difference between a human head and Publix old-fashioned dry oats. It's doing something in there. I'm just not exactly sure what. All right, so this is probably charged enough to get one thing out of it. Gotta download the app. This is too many things for one video. I should have just bought like 3 of them. Oh, yikes. 2.6. Double tap the device. Okay, I heard a buzz. Oh, it's just running now? That's it? It just started? Where do I put it? Oh no, it doesn't fit. It's supposed to sit right here. And instead, it sits right here. And it smells bad. I'm sorry, but it stinks. I think I'm supposed to wear it like this, actually. I can hear it. It sounds like crickets almost. It's like this has really bad branding because it's like, okay, I set it up, but like, what do I do now? It's not giving me suggestions of like what mode to do or when to do it or how often to do it. I'm supposed to just know all this stuff, I guess. I want to enhance mental capacity. I'm trying to get that limitless brain. We're gonna do it for 30 minutes. I'm going to continue the video while my brain just gets bigger and bigger. You guys let me know if I start getting really smart in the next 30 minutes, we'll know why. All right, let me figure out how to get this fucking leaf thing going. Put on torso, find the edge of your ribs. This blurry ass photo is all I have to go off of? Oh, I'm stuck. I'm just gonna say it goes right there, and it's cold. Why do you need my location? So this is like completely dead? Never mind, I can't get it to work until it charges. So should have opened that box earlier. You know, I guess in the future, maybe instead of unboxing everything on camera, I'll unbox it beforehand so I can charge it first. Hey, wait, that's a pretty good idea. Did I only think of that because I got this fucking thing on my head? I really am smarter now. Just gotta grab this one and leaf on top of that, and this guy, and then that's the wrong plug. There, don't forget one. And now I can relax. All right, let's talk about the leaf. I'm not gonna wait 8 weeks to see if this starts making a difference. I'm gonna return it now. I think it's awfully convenient a company that charges you a monthly fee wants you to be extremely patient with their product. Please pay us at least 3 times before sending it back. And it's not because I think this is a piece of junk. Honestly, it does exactly what it's advertised to do. It tracks your HRV, your heart rate variability, a metric that I had never heard of until it told me about it. And it guides you through these like timed breathing sessions in order to increase the number, because the higher the better, I guess. At least if you Google HRV, it'll tell you it's a big predictor for future health. If the number's high, you'll live forever. If it's low, you might as well dig your own grave now. But upon further research, it seems like there is some debate about what the number actually means. Some people believe everyone just kind of has their own baseline level, and the value in tracking it is simply that when the number starts to trend downward, that can be a sign of a lot of added stress in your life, or even that you might be a couple days away from getting sick before showing symptoms, which is actually really interesting. But anyway, while I'm not 100% sure what to do with the number it gives me, I do know that having an app that I can open up at any time that'll show me how close I am to allegedly dying is probably the worst thing for my mental health. It's kind of like when I first bought an Apple Watch a few years ago and I started obsessing over my heart rate, because up until that point I had never had a device that could track it for me. So then I spent the next few months worrying about how high it was and what that might mean for my health, until one day I decided to just stop looking at it, and then can you guess what happened? It went down. I was causing the problem that I was stressing about by stressing about it. So I'm not gonna make the same mistake again with this thing, although it would be unfair for me to judge them because of that. That's my own issue. So let's say hypothetically I were to keep using this, what would that experience look like? Well, for starters, I would have to tape this device to my chest every day. I have to feel this cold, sticky tape on my torso, what, for the rest of my life? And then when I run out of tape, I'm gonna have to buy more? I'm not gonna do all that. Also,
There is a massive flaw with this device, which is that it is touch activated. By tapping it, you can initiate an automated breathing session where it vibrates super hard on your chest for like 3 minutes. I wore this thing for a day and a half. I must have accidentally activated that thing like 25 times, 10 or so of which were while I was asleep, and it kept waking me up. And maybe you're thinking, Drew, surely that is a setting that can be turned off. No, it's not. If I want to use this thing to track my HRV in my sleep, I just have to deal with the fact that it's gonna wake me up a bunch. The funniest thing about this to me is that I used another app to track my sleep quality. So this right here is me just going to bed normally, no devices, just raw dogging sleep. And this is the one and only night that I wore the leaf. Not only did my sleep score go way down, probably because I kept getting interrupted, but my heart rate variability got cut in half. That is the one thing this device is supposed to improve. So I'm thinking, like, what's the end game here? I keep using this device for weeks and hope that that number keeps improving until it gets back to where it was before I started. And then when that finally happens, I decide, gee, I guess I can't live without this device. I guess I'll keep paying them $99 a month forever, because as far as I can tell, there's no way to opt out of the coaching they automatically signed me up for when I bought it. Which also, like, what do I need coaching for anyway? The app tells me how to do it. She didn't even get my name right.
Hey, Andrew.
If HRV is important to you and it's something you'd like to be able to track, then I would recommend getting one of the many devices out there that will track it for you and that you don't have to tape to your chest. And even though all of these devices are more expensive than $99, after a couple months, it will be the same price. And then every month after that, it will be another $99 cheaper, and so on and so forth forever. Who thought of this business model? And why are they not in jail? Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go put that in a prepaid envelope. All right, this is gonna be the most positive segment of the whole video. I think the Call Me Go is a pretty okay product. I will not say it's worth $200, but that still makes it the cheapest out of all the products in this video when you consider the fact that you don't have to subscribe to it. I finally figured out how to use it, even though they never answered my phone call. Basically, you just breathe into it until it vibrates, and that means you've exhaled long enough, so then you breathe in, exhale again, so on and so forth for a couple of minutes. Thankfully, I haven't had a panic attack since I got this thing, but the next time I do, I will definitely try to use it and see if it helps at all. Well, the rest of these products have the promise of this sort of silent long-term effect that you're supposed to just trust is happening and hope that in like 2 months that maybe you might feel some slight difference. They don't do anything to help you if you have a sudden onset of anxiety. This is something that at least has the potential to give you some immediate relief. Again, there are plenty of free ways to accomplish the same exact thing. There are YouTube videos with breathing exercises. You could even just like time how long this tells you to breathe in and out, and then next time count out loud yourself. So I'm not gonna say $198 is some great value for this, but does it do what it's supposed to do? Yes. I can see the practicality in owning one of these. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that, because I have nothing else nice to say for the rest of the video. Boom, you meowed at the door to come in, and then I let you in and I closed the door, and now you want to get out? Too bad, you're trapped. My favorite thing about the Apollo is how cumbersome it is to wear on your wrist, because it has to go on the bottom, so it gets in the way of everything. Luckily, the solution is to wear it, that's right, on your ankle. So now every time I walk outside my house, my neighbors do a double take and then sprint in the opposite direction. I didn't commit a crime, Beatrice. I just have trouble focusing. So I've been sleeping with the Apollo and the Neo Rhythm. I've done different combinations. Some nights I'll only wear one. Some nights I haven't worn either of them. Actually, the very first night I had this on my head, which I thought was super uncomfortable. And then I found out you're supposed to put it under the pillow. So that's probably the dumbest I've ever felt. Though it's not like they said that in the app. I had to find that out from a random YouTube video. And if I hadn't found that, I would have just kept putting it on my head every night. But then hold on, and I know this may be a stupid question, but can the electromagnetic pulses even make it that far? Like, I still don't really know how this thing works, but how far do they actually go? Not to brag or anything, but my pillow's pretty thick. Can the pulses go all the way through it? They give you this little magnetic tester that beeps when it's on, which I think it's funny that they feel like they probably have to prove that this thing actually does something, and that's why they give it to us, but that's besides the point. But how it works is that you can only hear it beeping if it's right up next to
to it. Even if I'm like an inch away, it stops beeping. So you're telling me it has to go all the way through my pillow and pillowcase and skull just to make it into my brain? Shit, what's to stop it from going over to my neighbor's house and getting into their heads? Guess the whole neighborhood's sleeping good tonight. Anyway, for me at least, it seems like it has no effect. As you can see, I am physically incapable of having medium quality sleep. I either sleep amazing or terrible. Just for the sake of being thorough, I'm gonna keep experimenting with these things for the next couple of months, and I'll let you know in a future video if anything drastic changes, but for the time being, I don't feel like I'm getting anything out of these wearables. There are people who say that they felt relief within seconds of putting this thing on their neck, and like the third time I put it on, I got a headache. I'm not trying to spend $300 on a headache. I don't want that shit for free. Out of curiosity, I looked up a few reviews of the product on YouTube, and it kind of seemed like all of them had affiliate links in the description, which sort of means that they're incentivized to say positive things about the product. Even still, I thought it was funny how many of the reviewers would say things like, "This technology is groundbreaking. It's so cool. It didn't do anything for me, even though I wore it for 3 weeks, but maybe if you buy it, you'll have different results." Now, the thing about mental health is you can't see it. To everyone else around you, it's invisible. That's why even though it has been heavily destigmatized, no matter what, there will always be people who look at you and say, "You're not depressed, you're just lazy." Or like, "Anxiety's not real because I don't have it, and I'm the main character." But because brain health is invisible, it's impossible for me to prove that these products don't do anything. Like I said, there's people online who say they bought one and it changed their life. I would love it if these things worked perfectly for everyone all the time and it made all our lives better. That would be amazing. I would love it if I could put a piece of plastic on my head and never have anxiety again. But I worry that because it's so clear how hit or miss these devices are, that maybe there might be some placebo effect going on. And look, if it works, it works. That's great for those people, right? Because if it is a placebo effect, that means for everyone who bought it and didn't get anything out of it, all it's done is made their lives worse because they still have anxiety, but now with $400 fewer dollars. What I will say is that I think there is legitimacy in just having something to focus on when working towards a goal. A lot of the time with mental health, it kind of feels like the only thing you can do is just wait for it to get better, or you end up in a depression loop where you don't have the motivation to do any of the things that may make you feel less depressed. That was a story of my life for like 2 years. So there probably is something beneficial just in scheduling a task every day. Maybe part of it is the task itself, and part of it is the sense that you're actively working towards something. Like, these things don't do anything unless you tell them to. So when you sit down to work and you're like, I need to be more focused, I could try putting this thing on my wrist and activating focused and energized mode, and then, maybe I'll get more work done. And maybe on the other end of the spectrum, because I went into this so resistant and so skeptical, it's kind of my own fault that this didn't work for me because I wasn't allowing my brain to take on any change. It's sort of the whole I can't help you if you're not willing to help yourself thing. Although that's me really trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, to recap my experience, I think the Mindy would be a bad investment for most people. I think the Leaf would be a bad investment for anyone. I think the NeoRhythm is a little too risky to try out yourself because it seems like a lot of people have no sensitivity to these kind of devices, and even if you want to return it for a refund, you have to spend upwards of $60 to ship it all the way back to Slovenia. I think the Call Me Go has a very niche use, but a use nonetheless, and the Apollo is probably the most overpriced product I've reviewed on this channel since the Moon Pod. I doubt even the biggest believers in this wristband can honestly say that they think this is worth what it costs. It feels so light and cheap in your hand. Just yesterday, I got an ad for almost the same exact type of product. And I don't know anything about this one, but they were charging $90 for 2 of them. And they're also just little watches that vibrate. Sure, maybe this one knocks it out of the park. Maybe it's way better, but is it $350 better? I doubt it. So as a company focused on people's well-being, if you can afford to charge substantially less for a product and still profit from it, why aren't you doing that? It seems like you've arbitrarily tacked on this mental health tax because you know that your target audience might just be desperate enough to spend all that that money anyway. And so no matter how effective these things prove to be, I cannot comfortably get behind them. To me, this whole business model seems extremely exploitative. That being said, I'm curious to hear if you guys have bought anything like these and if you've had similar or hopefully better experiences. It's always hard to tell exactly what the consensus for something is, when from past experience, I know that some of these websites heavily moderate their reviews. And also half of these products don't even show reviews. They just show a handful of testimonials at the bottom and call it a day. Wow, this product is approved by 3 out of 3 people? I guess it's perfect then. Well, it's that time, folks. Time for me to